It is 6:01, Tuesday, November 4th. I'm going to call the planning board meeting to order. Let the record reflect all members present. And who is recording? All right, is anyone else recording, audio or video? All right, we are recording. Are you recording? Not yet. We're recording and we're doing live Zoom. All right, so the first agenda item is a public hearing continued from 10/21.
Recording in progress.
Definitive subdivision 32 Middleborough Road, 0 Claremont Way, applicant James Simmons, Simmons Development, owner Edmund, Richard Arman, and Robert Claremont, Representative Jason Lenquist, Outback Engineering. Scope of work, 7-lot subdivision. I will entertain a motion to resume. We're not doing a, we'll just continue it from that, right?
Yes, we received correspondence from the applicant that he wishes to continue to November 18th, 2025, which the next meeting will be held at the school?
Freetown Elementary
At the
School.
Freetown Elementary School on Memorial Drive.
Okay.
That's all I got.
That's the 18th.
It is.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to continue that, wrong one. Continue that hearing to November 18th, still 6 PM, right?
So we
Yeah.
should ask for the.
At the Freetown Elementary School.
Correct.
I'll make the motion, excuse me.
I'll second it.
We'll do a roll call vote for that, too. Dave?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Gary? James?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So 32 Middleborough Road, 0 Claremont Way. It's continued until November 18th, 6 PM at the Freetown Elementary School. All right, on to item number 2. Continued from 10/21/2025, special permit, commercial compost in 89 Chase Road, special permit applicant John Mello, owner John Mello, representative attorney Richard Burke, Jr. We received an email asking for a continuation on the commercial composting special permit. I believe the reasons is they're getting a presentation together. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Hi, so my name is Tony Riley. I'm an attorney. I represent the applicant along with Attorney Burke. I sent in the request for a continuance. And the purpose of the continuance is I watched the last meeting, and there was a lot of comments and questions from the crowd and from the board. So right now, we are working with a surveyor to get an updated plan for the board, and we're in the process of coordinating with the DEP to get a consultant to generate a report. And I think, those two things together will actually provide the board with some more specific, detailed information that, we'll be able to talk about at a forthcoming hearing. So that's why we want the continuance, so we can, provide the extra information that you all require. And it just takes some time to get those things together, and we don't have it tonight. And I heard your next meeting's on the 18th. We probably won't have it then. So maybe a continuance to the following hearing would be helpful. So we had time to put those things together.
December 2nd,
December 2nd.
and we would be back here.
I'll entertain a motion to continue the commercial composting for 89 Chase Road to December 2nd, here at the Freetown PD Community Room at 6 PM.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All right, so roll call vote. Go with Dave.
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Aye. So that will be continue the compost, commercial composting, 89 Chase Road is continued until December 2nd here at the Freetown PD Community Room at 6 PM. All right. Item 3 is continued from 10/21/2025, special permit commercial recycling, 89 Chase Road. Special permit applicant, John Mello. Owner, John Mello. Representative, Attorney Richard Burke Jr. And do you want us to start adding you on these now, too?
Sure,
All right, so Anthony Riley.
yeah.
Attorney
thank you.
Anthony Riley. Scope of work, the applicant requests a special permit for commercial recycling on 2.34 acre parcel identified as parcel C on Assessors Map 241, Lot 31. The applicant intends to operate a depackaging recycling facility. I will entertain a motion to resume that public hearing.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, so roll call. Dave?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the public meeting is now open. We are going to start off by, we received a ton of pictures, videos. We tried to get everything we could up except for videos can't go up. Is that what it,
I had a little difficulty with some of the videos and the way that it was prepared. The website would not accept some of the types of videos that were submitted. Welcome to come to the town office planning department and view those. Most of them, I'm sorry, from Samantha Down, did I pronounce her name correctly? Hi, Samantha. I'm sorry, we weren't able to upload them, but happy for anybody to see them. And when we go back to the composting, I think that would be the most appropriate time to show them, if that's okay. We did get some other videos as well. Mr. Bergeron provided some videos, which I can show maybe, of the trucks coming and going.
yeah, we're gonna show a few of those videos today as a sample, but, again, I don't think in here, just on the notes though, it says, though the town's now obligated to post videos, every effort has been made to do so. The videos themselves are considered public record, and if submitted as part of the hearing, would become records of the hearing. So they are records of the hearing. We're gonna show some of those videos at the meeting. And the videos, obviously, any video we receive from private individuals have not been authenticated by the board themselves. So we're gonna start the hearing just playing a few of those videos. And before we get, did anyone submit anything they didn't see, check to see, and it wasn't posted?
Oh, wait.
That wasn't a video?
Stop sharing.
I know we got a lot of paperwork in last meeting. Okay.
It takes a second to upload. There it is.
You take your time, Nancy.
Thank you. There it is. Not as smooth as silk, I'm sorry. Doing the best I can. Obviously, there is some truck operations, and the video described that heavy equipment being utilized on the site.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you have someone describe what the videos are purporting to show? I mean, we don't know what that was and what that had, if that even relates to our application. It's hard to respond to when it's just,
It's a good question.
Yes. So all I can say, we will receive the video from Frank Bergeron. I don't know if he's here, but I believe it was a video of the entrance of 89 Chase. And it was to show heavy equipment operation being done at the entrance of the site. They're not good quality videos, but that is what we received. Again, we're not authenticating
Again, we're not
any of them.
authenticating it.
Oh, no, I know the board does, and I just want to maybe,
Tighten it.
cut through some
I can
confusion,
tell you
because it
right-
doesn't look like that has anything to do with what we're actually applying for. So I'm just concerned that it's somewhat misleading if there's no explanation of what it actually shows.
We're just trying to be, show
understand.
everything that we get in.
I understand.
I know what you're saying, it's pallets at the front of the place there. It looks like they're being removed in that video.
Yeah, they're
And they're gone now, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, we don't know that, none of them, most of them were not time-stamped. That's a question I actually raised, like, obviously I know it's the site at some point in its history of
Yeah,
being
no, I
there,
understand, I
But when,
understand.
I don't know. So, we just thought it would be there would
That's fine.
be a
No, you can
good
show
of
whatever you
us to
want. I
show
would just
some of
like
the
a
videos
1 or 2 second
that
chance to
people have said. I mean,
respond.
if you have a response to each video, I mean, we can stop and you can respond to
Yeah,
it. If
that's
not,
all I'm
most of the
asking.
people in here probably
No
seen.
problem. Yeah. Thank you.
I only have basically 2 that have uploaded that actually might pertain, and they're just very limited.
Most of the videos received, I believe, would be more for the composting. But a few of them were at the entrance, and honestly, the videos I've seen were just trucks coming in and out,
It's just an image.
as far as anything that will relate to the recycling.
Go down, put this down.
Did you guys get a chance to watch all the videos? No.
This should come in a moment. It's basically, again, what I can tell on a grainy screen, it was just truck operations, again, at the entrance of 89 Chase Road. I don't know much more about it. Is Mr. Bergeron here, I'd like to speak to it?
No, it doesn't.
These individually are all on the website for anyone to view. We were able to get them into a document called video submittals. You can click on the link in the document, and then it can bring you to the various videos if you wish to review more of them. That one's done now, so. So those were just a
A
few
couple
of the
videos of
scattered.
trucks at the entrance in and out. Spurgeon did say during one of them, he believed it may have been 2 AM, but again, we just wanted to show some because we received them. All the videos are available at the town hall. What would the hours be on that? You want to-
So if you're looking for the ones for the birds on the roofs and in and around the composting area, those you can see at the town hall in the town planning office on the second floor. We are open from 8 to 4 every day, except for Friday, and it's 8 to 12 on Fridays. But the videos that you just saw today, those are on the website, and you can watch those at home on your computer or, for wherever, from your phone as well, I believe. Mr. Chairman, we did receive other videos. We received a video from John's attorney as well as a PowerPoint presentation, and they asked if we could show the video first. Would you like for me to bring that up?
Yes.
Would you mind if I preface that video?
Absolutely not. If you wish to get to the,
Okay. My name is Mo Banville, And I do some work with John Mello, trying to determine ways that the farm can move into the future, looking towards sustainability, increased revenues, some automation, and diversify operations, and move the farm from the past into the future. I started working with John about 2016. He gives me different assignments. I worked on the upcoming PowerPoint presentation. And I'm here to discuss the permit application John Mello has pending before the board and what came of those efforts.
A lot of options.
I would like to, before I get into it, read this letter from John's original application. Our new agricultural building at 89 Chase Road would allow us to continue to depackage our animals' food supply while bringing our employees out of the elements. Unwanted foods which may not be suitable for humans will be depackaged and prepared as feed for the cattle. Any food not suitable for the cattle's diet would be composted on the Beach Bluff Farms state-permitted compost facility. So I thought with what I saw in the previous meeting, I thought the most effective way to describe to the board and to the interested people in the audience was to show you exactly what John is proposing. To that end, I prepared a video which will introduce you to an automation upgrade called the Tiger D-Pack, which is being adopted and installed at farms throughout the country. And I hope this helps everyone better understand what exactly the project is and what it's designed to do. So if you could run that. Is this sound on? I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, we can play the sound.
Does it pick it up on the mic?
Mixing the feed.
This is showing a farmhand manually preparing the feed for the cows. And this is food waste that comes in and is separated from the boxes and put into the troughs for the cattle. John brought this idea back to his group of consultants, and we 100% agree that this is a big step towards automation and lowering feed costs and increasing revenue coming into the farm.
Hi, I'm Nick Kobos with Ecoverse. Separating packaging from organics is a necessity, and nothing does it better than this Tiger depackaging system. This one machine can feed, separate, and process your organics into a wet or dry output. This you have got to see. For starters, the Tiger is a plug-and-play machine. All functionality is fully integrated on a single chassis, which means it takes up very little space in your facility, and that's a big deal, especially when floor space is scarce. At the heart of the Tiger is the unique high-speed vertical mill with these bolted-on paddles. The massive centrifugal force generated here extracts organics through a half-inch or three-quarter-inch screen. The organic fraction comes out over 99% contaminant-free and can be recycled or repurposed through composting, converted into renewable energy in an AD system, or used as nutrients for animal feed. The Tiger also recovers the packaging, so it too can be reclaimed for recycling. Paper, plastic, metal, and even cardboard are decontaminated and repurpose ready with no additional processing required. And no, even dealing with nasty food waste doesn't make a mess. The Tiger's stainless steel construction and automatic cleaning cycle keep the process sanitary. A second feed auger in the hopper keeps material flowing smoothly into the mill, preventing bridging by automatically reversing at programmable intervals. The Tiger provides both wet and dry organic discharge options, which can be toggled with the flip of a switch. Need to add water? That too can be dialed in with precision. The large, open hopper makes loading the Tiger easy, so your operators can spend more time processing and less time loading. Adding a Tiger depackaging system to your operation greatly increases the services you can offer, generating more revenue and decreasing overhead expenses, like transportation costs.
This is the actual commissioning of the machine that is installed at 89 Chase Road. Packaged material is sent into the machine, and this is the result. 99.9% clean animal feed. Okay. The machine was shut down after that commissioning and hasn't run since, but it is ready to go, pending an occupancy permit and a special permit from the town.
Thank you.
I think we're going to go into the PowerPoint now.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second to share it. Sorry, I'm going back a couple. We were testing it. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, the actual name of the facility is an Animal Feed and Organics Management Facility. And we're converting food waste for a sustainable future. One of the things we try to do in our meetings is develop a sustainable, long-term approach to the farm that will lead to a sustainable future. One of the things we needed to do was develop a long-term, consistent, low-cost feed for the animals. And one of the ways we do that is converting food waste. It complies with the EPA directive. Food waste cannot go into landfills anymore. So this takes a good portion of food waste and runs it through the machine, and it files the hierarchy. As you can see, the food waste scale. Feed animals, compost, and anaerobic digestion are three of the top uses. We looked into the ability of the local roads to handle this material coming in on trucks. I spoke to Mass DOT and Spread, which did the initial work at the interchange down by 140. It is classified as a minor arterial road, which is more than adequate to handle the type of truck traffic that's going to be coming in. And the daily truck traffic of estimated 40 truck trips a day is going to be less than 1% of the average daily road traffic that's coming down Chase Road. Go to the next one, please.
Thank you for.
Okay, the DPAC equipment that you saw operates at a very low decibel level. For example, a residential vacuum cleaner is at 70 dBA. The machine, when it's operational, is 68.4 dBA. It's all powered by electricity and offers benefits such as reduced emissions, noise reduction, and lower operating costs. The DPAC facility, as I showed in the video, is 100% enclosed, 4 inches of insulation, closed cell R15 foam for fireproofing and to control operational sound levels. As the materials come in, the doors close behind it. They don't open again until that material goes back out or the truck is emptied. The operation is located 1/4 of a mile from the Chase closest to Butters. Is that correct, John? About a quarter mile?
Yeah, a little more.
And it matches with multiple commercial businesses currently established along Chase Road. As you can see from the video that we showed, this facility is on its own site in the middle of a working cattle farm, amidst all the associated farming and agricultural odors, sights, and sounds. The delivered food product does not come to us spoiled. It comes out of cold storage, and they call when they have to move something off. It might be off spec, it might have fallen off the rack, whatever it is, they'll call us and ask us if we can handle it. So it is not spoiled, it's coming from cold storage. We operate first in, first out inventory management, which prevents materials from sitting on site for extended periods of time. We have a very efficient offloading and material processing, allows the product to move quickly from the loading docks through the tipping area to the processing area. The daily facilities and equipment washdown procedures with commercial-grade cleaning products are in place. Emergency spill cleanup response procedures are in effect, and the East Freetown Fire Department is located less than 2 miles away.
So I just want to add to that slide that, so the key part of it is that when the food products come in, they're not being dumped on the ground and left in piles for days or a long time that then they would rot and create smells. The trucks come into the loading bays, the product gets taken off the trucks and go into the machine. So it's an immediate process, so it's not like a composting situation where piles of things sit outside, decompose and create odors.
Yeah, there's going to be a number of different ways the material comes in. It could be fresh produce, which might come in gaylords, which is very easy to handle. It can be brought right out as feed for the animals. Some is going to be in cardboard boxes like you saw in the video. That will be inspected to see if it's appropriate for the animals. If it is, it'll go through the DPAC machine. If it's not, it'll be put to the side. It'll be run through later after the animal feed is run, and that can be used for anaerobic digestion or go to compost. We try to operate a zero-waste facility. Nothing is handled on site. Everything goes off-site in sealed containers or to animal feed. So there's no food outside of the building. Okay, it's fully enclosed, as we've gone over. Weekly pest control service using integrated pest management solutions is contracted. Facility and vehicles are fully contained and tarped. Okay, all employees are trained in odor abatement plans. Next, please.
Yep, sorry.
Okay, the management of the volume at the DPAC facility is not 40 truckloads full of food coming in every day.
Mr. Chairman, point of information. This is the second time he's put out, so it's not 40 trucks. It's 40 one way and 40 the other. You got 80 truck loads on the street.
It's 40 visits.
Okay.
Can we make
Order,
our
order,
presentation?
We're gonna let them finish. I understand 40 trucks coming, 40 trucks going.
If it's the same truck, it's a truck. Hold on. If it's a truck in and a truck out, that's a truck trip.
They don't switch drivers or anything. That was kind of rude.
Mr. Chairman.
So it's 40
Just
truck
make it
visits.
know it's 40 physical trucks, they come and they go.
Each one has 10 tires.
So if you got one road and 40 trucks go out to that road, then 40 more come the other way, I count 80 trucks on that road. Basic math, right? Am I missing something, or?
Okay, all right, order, we're
Thank
gonna
you.
allow him to continue.
Thank you. So not every truck is going to be full. Trucks can come in with 800 pounds of material. Can come in with 1,000 pounds of material. Trucks can come in with, 2 tons of material. These trucks are not packed to go over the road with this material. These trucks are carrying stuff out of a cold storage, so whatever they pack on the truck is what we take off. All appropriate food tonnage received for the truck visits will be depackaged and used on site to supply animal feed to Beach Bluff Farm cattle and other cattle, local farms as needed. Any excess depackaged food or slurry will be hauled off site using sealed vehicle and delivered to anaerobic digestion facilities for conversion to renewable energy sources. Any depackaged outthrow and trash is captured in a self-contained vessel and transported off-site for disposal. Corrugated cardboard material like you saw going in, that cardboard will be salvaged and hauled off-site for disposal or upcycling opportunities. Tires, glass, metals are not accepted as part of the depackaging facility process. All pallets will be stored in trailers and hauled off-site when full. No more outside storage. The previous handling of the Sea-Watch clam product contract has been terminated. So that, in a nutshell, is what we're looking for.
I just want to add a couple things about this slide. If we can just go back one.
One more? Again, do you want me to go back?
You
one
know,
more?
right there, no, that's.
Right there?
Oh, wait. Oh, no, next one, sorry.
That's okay.
I think we're going backwards.
Did we do those already?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Okay, sorry.
No, it's not.
This one, the volume?
Yes.
Okay.
So the point there where it says no tires, glass, or metals will, come into the property, that's true. I just want to respond to something that came up that I saw at the last hearing, talking about slaughterhouse waste. No slaughterhouse waste is coming on the property. That's a regulated hazardous material, and you need special permits to, process those things that we're not ever going to get, have no interest in getting. So I just wanted to mention that because it came up last time, but we are certainly not taking truckloads of waste from a slaughterhouse and processing any of that material. We're not allowed to do that. We're never going to seek a special permit from DEP to do that. So I just wanted to add that because we left that part out.
I have a couple of questions.
1 second.
Is the presentation
All right,
done?
it's your presentation.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
All right, so as far as volume is kind of my next question too. So to feed the farms, and you might not know this today, if you don't, it's fine, you can come back with it. To feed the farms you have on your farm now, how much volume? And I understand that if you take in a certain amount, of food, it doesn't necessarily, I know, what's a cow, 50 pounds? 50 pounds of feed a day.
Average.
All right, I know 50 pounds of food coming in might not make 50 pounds of feed, package in, water and soups, I get that, liquids. So how much of the actual feed do you need for your cows on the farm?
Well, I'd like to grow my herd,
Of
first of
course,
all.
yeah,
And
That was
so
gonna be
we're
my next
meeting
question.
today's
today, and then we'll,
needs,
yeah,
you know? And I wouldn't want to not feed my neighbors either.
I'm gonna get
if
to a
they
few
want.
more questions, I'm just trying to break it down into
Right.
simple.
So I think the part about the amount of, I don't know, we'll call it the weight of the food coming in, I think it's difficult as related to the number of trucks.
Okay,
Just because there could be the same amount of food product on 3 trucks as there are on 10 trucks coming in.
Yeah, so-
The trucks don't come in packed full
I'm
all
not,
the time.
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
So I know, that's what I'm trying to get at, because we don't, obviously, no one knows which way this permit's going, right? But if you wouldn't want it restricted by trucks, you would want it restricted by pounds,
No,
correct?
no, we
No.
want it restricted by trucks, because
Okay,
40 is kind of the number that we would look for high-volume times.
Okay.
The average amount of trucks per day is not going to be 40, it's probably somewhere between 15 and 20, give or take, like, don't hold me to that, because,
There's sometimes we don't get enough food for even my cows.
okay,
We went through a little drought, and that's when I realized how important it was to some of the other farms. A cow's diet, you can't just instantly change the diet, and I wouldn't want to. And I realized how important it is this last slowdown.
so I guess my question would be, I understand you would want to do it by trucks, but if 40 trucks came in with 2 pallets apiece, that obviously wouldn't be enough.
Correct.
yeah, but you
But if
don't,
40 trucks came in full, you would have excess. I'm trying to get at,
It's up and down. You can't, no guarantee.
because you can't, because the trucks come to us as they come based on whatever the food waste
get
is,
that.
where
Yeah.
where the origin is.
yes,
So it comes as it comes. We cannot tell, for example, Stop and Shop, we'll only take X amount because you gave us X amount yesterday and we can only take X amount today. I think the truck trips is what matters. And then you make enough food for the on-site animals. The excess that can be fed to animals, John gives to, the surrounding farms and the people he has a relationship with. Any excess doesn't get stored at the farm. It can go into compost, but I think we gotta talk about that at the next hearing with, the composting hearing. And then, anything that's excess of that, whether it's for the animals or can't be used for the animals, gets taken off-site to, anaerobic digestion, where they create electricity from the product, that we supply.
Okay.
But that's a small,
yes.
but the main purpose of this operation is to feed John's animals, and then the second purpose is surrounding farms. The anaerobic digestion is just like kind of the last ditch option to get rid of whatever excess that we can't keep on the farm, because we're not gonna be storing a bunch of this stuff that we don't use.
Yeah,
It all
correct.
goes out, whether to the animals or anaerobic digesting.
Okay, if you can kind of
Sure, I mean,
help me with my question, I guess.
Good evening, I'm Robin Stein, KP Law, we're your town council. So I wouldn't be able to help the board, like, formulate, and my understanding of what's happening here is a volume of food is coming in, and the priority of that is going to the animals. But above that, there's a delta that's just a commercial business at this point. It is either being resold for, electricity, like you said, so you give that away. There's no revenue
Well,
that comes in from that.
So sometimes when you go to the anaerobic digester, they do pay you. Sometimes they don't. That depends on
Okay.
what they have going on at their, facility and stuff like that. The
So-
primary purpose is not to make money from anaerobic digesting.
It's not as the primary purpose that's the issue, it's that you are proposing to be allowed to take in more than you need to run your farm, right? Because the amount to run your farm, that's agricultural. So
Right.
this special permit is above and beyond what's necessary to run the farm.
It's still feeding the farm, it's still agricultural.
Well,
Hold on,
it's
let-
not, it's not.
Let her
So-
ask her question
so
and then we'll answer it.
It's not, you're monetizing And this is what I'm trying to understand. because
Where are
frankly,
we
this is-
monetizing? We're
well, that's
not
what-
selling the
No,
feed?
So
We're not?
You wanna be able to finish your sentences, I wanna be able to finish my sentences. So, this is what I'm trying to understand, cause my second meeting here, and I'm still not hearing it in a way that I understand even what you're proposing, and so I'm feeling difficulty in advising the board about how to apply their bylaw and how the use applies and just the words in the bylaw apply, because it's still unclear to me, so. Let's start with this, you take the food from Stop and Shop, do they pay you a fee to take the food?
Yes.
Okay, so there is, money that you receive just to take the food, which is great, cause then you can feed your cows for free, and there's money associated with that. If you take in more volume than you need to feed your cows, now that's a commercial component of taking that in. You're then recycling above and beyond what you need to feed the farm, so there's a commercial component to taking a higher volume. And then some of it is going either to friends, some of it is going to, I heard, cardboard, offsite for upcycling, renewables, increasing farm revenues. So there appears to be, and I don't have a clear picture of it right now, a commercial recycling component of the operation that's happening there that is above and beyond what is being used on site for the farm.
Yeah, so two things.
So that,
Oh, okay.
that is what the special permit is for, and I'm still having a hard time understanding or having you quantify, so maybe you can help us, like, what that is, what's the volume of that, because if the board were to grant this, I imagine they would say, look, we clearly understand, like, this is the volumes, whether it's by truck or weight or whatever we come to, and you can tell us what makes the most sense, or the board, and you guys can talk about that, none of it's up to me, I just wanna understand it so I can help them. You know, this much is agriculture, that's your, as 48.3, as of right, you can do it. This is the part that's the commercial operation above and beyond that, and how does the board quantify that? How do they say, okay, look, you can always do whatever's necessary to run your farm. The special permit is limited to X amount above that, whether it's truck trips, volumes, whatever it is, because that is the commercial business that you're running, it sounds like, above and beyond the farm operations. The farm operations are what happens on the farm. So, receiving payments, tipping fees essentially, to take in what would otherwise be waste, and then recycling that into other things, all sounds great, but it is commercial. And so, what we need to understand is, where does the farm end, where does a commercial business begin, and then what are the volumes you're requesting by special permit permission to do? And I don't normally jump in like this, but I feel like we're not getting there, and so
Well, I
if you
think
can
that-
help with that,
Yeah,
that would
so
be
a
great.
general difficulty I think we're having is that this whole time, and before even these board hearings, that we consider this an agricultural process.
I understand you consider an agricultural process.
That's why
but-
we applied for the building permit for an agricultural building. Before we got the building permit, Mr. Mello sent a, letter to the building department in a general way describing what we were gonna do. But two direct answers to your question is just because there's money involved doesn't mean it's not agricultural.
What makes it not agricultural is that you are running a business that you're proposing to operate a commercial operation that fits within a definition in the zoning bylaw for commercial recycling that is unrelated to what's necessary to run the farm. Just because your client has a farm doesn't mean they can run 3 times the amount of volume above and beyond and for off-site use and off-site recycling. And so, again, the letter the building inspector said is, what you need to do to run your farm, you run your farm, that's none of our business, but if you're gonna have a commercial business essentially on top of that, then there's a line that it crosses. And so your client's taking in volumes above what he needs to run his farm, without question, or you wouldn't be here, right? If you were only taking the volumes necessary to feed your cows on site, with even some delta to grow your herd, I don't think we'd be here, right?
Well, no, I think we're here because the building commissioner told us we had to come.
No, that's not, the building commissioner did not. The building commissioner wrote a letter and he said,
Yes, he did.
you have great volumes coming in, and if it's just agriculture, that's fine. If it's beyond agriculture, it's commercial recycling and you need a permit. Are you taking the position that just because there's a farm on site, anything else that they wanna do, they can do in the name of the farm? Because farming is running commercial agriculture on the site. So taking in, say, double that you need to run your farm because you receive tipping fees for those and then are able to, and this is great, I'm not criticizing the business in any way, but from a legal perspective, it sounds to me like what's happening is more than is necessary to run the farm is coming in to make a profit, and then those materials are being recycled on site and either reused on site into the mulching, which is a reuse, or they're going off site for renewable energy or upcycling, and that is commercial. And so it's not
Those are,
farming.
those are options, but the primary use is to feed the on-site cattle and give it away to the other farms.
So back
I don't
to
think
my
there's a
ori-
requirement.
So back to my original point, then everybody on the board, I think, and I would like to know in order to advise them, I'm not gonna speak for the board, but it would be helpful to me then to actually understand what is the volume of the farm use and what is the volume beyond the farm use that your client is proposing to do.
So the way you control that, and, you know, we have a list of potential conditions I was planning to talk about later, but the way you control that is by the number of trucks. Because we don't know what's coming in. And John said this before, sometimes trucks will come in and it's not even enough for his own animals.
So how many trucks a week on average do you,
I think
do you
I
need to
I
fight the
think
farm?
per day, on
Per-
average,
Yeah,
He said 15 to 20.
15 to 20, but it, you know, it might be more during busy seasons. Like, for example, right now, it's a busy season because everyone has pumpkins they're trying to get rid of, so a lot of pumpkins are gonna come in, there's gonna be more trucks. It's not gonna be 40 trips every day, but, we use the number 40 as the number we'd like, just so we had a ceiling and that we will not violate. And the way, that's how the board can control how much, comes in. It's impossible to hold us to a, you know, tonnage amount. We don't have a scale at the property. And, you know, as a practical matter, for a condition and a special permit, I don't even know how that's enforceable, frankly. You know, I don't think the building department has a scale measuring trucks. So the way you do it is you cap the number of trucks, and then whatever comes in, you know, sometimes it's not great for us. Sometimes there's a little more, he'll give some away, and whatever we can't use, we'll send off to our anaerobic digestion, and, you know, like I said, we'll talk about the composting at the December hearing, but some of it can go into the composting so long as that stays on the farm.
so one follow-up question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you're saying 15 to 20 is what you need for the farm, for the animals?
No, that's just the average of how many trucks come per day in general. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more.
Help me, if I have to help the board write a decision.
Yeah.
That says, this is the amount that the applicant, and you can be by trucks, it doesn't have to be by tonnage, but this is a number that the applicant says is the agricultural use. This is the number the applicant is asking for permission to have above that. Like,
Yeah,
what
so
it-
we can't, so the problem is, and I understand it's a little difficult, but we can't say, yeah, we'll accept 15 trucks. Because if 15 trucks come in and 5 of those trucks have 1 pallet of food on it, then that's not enough. You know, so that might happen on a day anyway, but I think, you know, 40 truck trips as a cap is, you know, makes sense to us, because that's not what we're gonna do every single day. We won't exceed that. But you know, at busier times, or to make up for a slow week, you get more, you know, a couple days later. I mean, it's hard to measure how much we need, because we don't know on a daily basis how much comes in per truck
So you would be comfortable though, and you're saying 40 truck trips a day or 40 truck trips a week?
a day.
So what you're looking for then is a special permit that would let you have 40 truck trips?
As a cap, yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, getting to those clear numbers,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think will be helpful to the
Yeah,
board.
that's, okay.
We're happy to
That-
talk
that
about
makes
that.
sense. So
It's
I
not
think
an
we-
all or nothing
we-
proposition. We're happy to discuss, you
We
know.
might have missed a step here, because I don't think, so I'm under the impression, after speaking with, legal counsel, between meetings, that as far as for agricultural use, as far as the board's concerned, and we are not the zoning enforcement officer, as far as the board's concerned, that machine can be used if it's being for food for the farm itself, with nothing else, no compost, no extra. Just
Don't
let me
agree with that.
finish. That machine can be used currently, right now, without a special permit to feed the farm.
Well, no, because we
So-
don't have an occupancy permit for the building, so we
Well-
can't use it for that reason.
That's what you have to take up with the zoning, but we believe you don't need a special permit to feed your farm. So what we're trying to do is ask you, okay, we know that you might want to throw some in the composting, or feed your neighbors, or the other farms, we have a few left. That's what we're trying to get to, because, and again, as far as legal counsel is concerned, you can use that machine to take care of your own farm. And correct me if I'm.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think generally the agricultural component of this is not before this board. Right?
So we're,
It's not what?
so we're,
The agricultural component, you running your farm, at least in my opinion, and Nelson can,
I don't agree. I don't agree.
He's agreed for special permit. We're not looking at agricultural use at this point.
whether he agrees to apply for a special permit or not, our legal counsel is telling us that he can use that machine for his farm,
well.
not anything extra.
Well, I mean, look, if he doesn't have an occupancy permit, that's a different issue.
An occupancy permit, yeah.
But it's for
Some
that reason,
farms
though.
have
It's
it
tied to,
outside.
hold on, it's tied to that reason. That's
So that might
why we
be-
don't have it.
Well, that might be a conversation to have later. Again, the letter that I saw said, you built this thing, we don't exactly know what it's, in essence, that you built this, I'm afraid of the name, the shed, you have this machine, the building commissioner doesn't know the volumes you're doing, he can't tell if it's purely agricultural, if it's commercial, if it's what have you. I don't think there's any question that under 48.3, you don't need a special permit to run a farm. But if what you're doing from, and I think, you know, the building commissioner brought up last time, from a volumes perspective, if what you're doing isn't just running a farm, it's running a farm, and then it's also using the same equipment to run purely commercial activities that may even have a similar nature to the farm, then that seems like something that you need
Yeah,
zoning
so
relief for.
it's not the case that, I don't know, I'm making this up. In the morning, we're processing stuff for the farm, and in the afternoon, we're running a commercial operation to, you know, do other things. It's all one process, and what the farm needs for the cow stays, and if there's extra, he gives it away or goes to anaerobic digestion or maybe the compost pile. I think that's the problem here where, and to your question about how do we know how many trucks you need for the farm and how many trucks you need for the rest of it, it's hard to pin that down because we could get 10 trucks, that's not enough for the farm. Or we could get 10 trucks, that is enough for the farm and enough to, you know, give away the rest of neighboring farms based on how much comes in per truck wherever the origin source is. We don't control how much product comes in from, you know, the Stop and Shop processing facility.
But you could say no, right?
We could say no, yeah, sure. We could definitely say no. You know, if it was, but for an example, if you were to allow 40 truck trips, if it was the 41st truck, we'd say no. But you also want to keep a stream going and, you know, a relationship with the people that you're working with. So we don't want to say no if it's only a little bit. If there's only 10 trucks that day and the 11th truck has 2 pallets of food, we'll take it. So that's why it's hard to pin down the exact amount. It's really the truck trips that I think gives the board, you know, the way to regulate how much is going on here. And, you know, if the special permit is for a true commercial use, it doesn't really, and you might disagree, but to me, it doesn't really matter 20 trucks for the farm and 20 trucks for the rest. We don't know how much is coming in on those trucks, so if you just cap it at a total amount, we'll use everything we can for the farm, because that's the primary reason why Mr. Mello got the machine, then to give it away, and then, you know, to go to anaerobic digestion, whatever's separate. If we need a special permit for those extras, that's fine, but there might be extras. It's hard to quantify how much. It changes literally every single day. And it's not trying to avoid your question. I just can't give you a number. There's no way to give you a precise tonnage of food and how much, you know, is going to go to the cows on each day, because it depends on what comes into the property.
Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chairman, so let's see what we have. We have a building that, for as long as Mr. Mello's at a farm, no problem. I get his guys are out in the world. That's a tough job to be out doing that. He wants to bring them in. Good, that's a farming use. That's a good thing. But we're looking to bring an electric in to a sorter that's going to take more volume. So we're not getting more cows. We're just bringing more stuff in. So more volume, more mechanicalism, more conveyor belts. So what is the reason for it? If you already, if you got to know how much you're going to take in to invest $1 million into a machine, right? That takes money. You have to put a business plan together. So I think we could probably guess how much we need to feed our cows. That's easy. And what we expect to have left over and what our profit's going to be from that. How can you not have those numbers if you're going to run a business? Again.
I think the notion that just because this is a machine on the property and it's not that doesn't mean it's not, so that it's not an agricultural use is just like absurd.
Nobody's saying
I think he kind of did just say that. He just said that.
No, he said having the machine gives you the ability to have greater volumes. He didn't say per se, having a machine makes it.
Counted conveyors.
So, again,
So-
By the way, the whole permit process, right? We're here applying for a specific thing. We're talking about truck trips, but there's other conditions that we're willing to be imposed on that we can talk about. We can't expand any of those operations unless we came back in the future to seek a modification. This is not something that it's impossible for this thing to grow out of control. You know, we can talk about the other conditions that, you know, we thought would be reasonable that confines days, hours, truck trips, materials that we can be taking in. Like, we're willing to have all those things. And I think that's how the board controls the operation, you know, and if it spins out of control, which it won't, and we have no intent to do, then there's enforcement, all that stuff. So you can confine the entire, activity based on, you know, the conditions you put in the decision. And we're open to that. We're not here to argue against being conditioned. We came with a list that we're willing to talk to you about to confine our operation.
And you said, sometimes you're short, you don't have enough currently. And that's with approximately 20, an average of 20 trucks. Sometimes you're short on feed, right? You said 15 to 20 on an average day, I'm saying.
No, we stretch it out. We shut everyone else off and.
And use it for
cut
yourself.
back. But sometimes we don't have enough.
Yep.
Try to supplement it with hay and, which is costly.
Have you ever had a problem where you had too much, you had no place to get rid of it?
Never.
Okay,
No.
thank you. Guys have questions before we bring them out?
Jack, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, you keep saying that.
Introduce yourself
Oh,
again for the.
sorry, Margaret French, Board of Health. I just had a couple of questions about how exactly all of this works. I keep hearing some trucks come with just one pallet or maybe two pallets. How often does that happen? On average, on a day, do you get a bunch of trucks with
It
just,
could- Yeah.
you could?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, some, you know, a truck might come from, I keep using the Stop and Shop example because they have a lot of
That's
stuff.
fine, yeah.
You know, it might come from
Could be
a
half
school or
full.
institution that has leftover food from a cafeteria. Maybe they have a lot of leftover food. Sometimes they don't, but they have a responsibility to get rid of it. And, you know, we're a place that'll accept it and turn it into the food for the animals. So it's really hard to pin down. 2 times a day, a truck comes with only, whatever, 1 pallet of food. We just don't
You would
know.
consider that a common thing, that a truck would come with only one pallet?
Well, lately, I will say, Stop and Shop has gone through a spell that sometimes these trailers are coming in not even half full, which is, to me, dangerous to the herd. So, you don't know.
Okay, and how does this, do trucks just show up, or do they call first and ask if they
We
can come
usually
in?
know what's going on. They usually, like, you're gonna have a little bit of a surge around 4th of July. People having cookouts, so you're gonna get more fruit and vegetable remnants. Labor Day,
I think the point
But my
is-
question is,
yeah.
day by day,
Yeah.
do you know what trucks are coming in? Do they call and schedule?
yes.
Yes, so you know how many trucks and what trucks are coming in? Do they tell you how much is in each truck?
No, not usually, no.
Okay, so there's no way to control until they're actually there. You've got enough or you don't have enough.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
That's why we said, 40 would be the cutoff, and then that's it.
I think it's based on the general averages they've seen, that 40 is kind of the high water mark of, if you're having a slow day, then that's, maybe if you have that, if there's even that many trucks that want to come, that's not always, it's not that every day that we're getting 40 requests, but it gives you a chance to get what you need if,
Did he say that? Yep. Is it, and the 40, so right now, 20 trucks a day, is that on 7 days a week? or?
Well, no, so this is part of what, we wanted to talk about with conditions. I'm happy to talk about it now, just because you
Well,
asked.
So in a week,
Monday to Saturday, nothing on Sunday, and Saturday's a half-day.
okay.
If anything, because we do sometimes get a couple of trailers from Stop and Shop.
Yeah, and I can give a point of reference on how Stop and Shop trucks come with my service at the food pantry there. Sometimes they stack it to the end, sometimes we get 4 pallets in the truck. So I can say that. Hold on. So, all right, I thought it would be easier if there was a way to do the tonnage or something after it was processed. We get saying that's probably not, it can't happen that way. Okay.
You don't know what you're getting for material. I mean, if it's corn chips.
Just go up right up there.
Hi, my name is Richard Freed. Been in the trash industry all my life. Been in the farming industry all my life. Very familiar with composting. I think we seem to be going round and round about the same things. The things that we really have to consider is the material that's coming in is a product that either Stop and Shop can't use for a higher and better use. So they might, when they get this stuff back from the store, they might process apples or watermelons or whatever into a fruit salad. So they're not going to send that off for feed or for composting. They're going to use it for the best use they have. So you might get a truck with half a load with half filled boxes. You might get full boxes. It's all depending on what they're doing at that particular time. As was mentioned, there are certain times of the year where, like, if any of the people in here are farmers, when you farm and you plant tomatoes based on, spreading them out over a period of time so that your product becomes ripe over a period of time. But I don't care what you do, if you grow tomatoes, at some point in time, all the tomatoes ripen. You can't sell them, you have to do something with them. So that's why it's so hard to predict what the volume is. It's potato chips, it's, cookies, it could be watermelons, pumpkins, and depending on what it is, like a watermelon is mostly water weight. You're not getting a lot of usable material for the cows, a lot of it is water. So some of that is what they're talking about. One of the things that, concerns me the most is about farming. And we're kind of heading down a slope. I mean, what do we do with cranberry growers? They don't use all their cranberries on that farm. They sell the cranberries as a product for funds, for revenue. Hay farmers. Most of the hay farmers, and there's a couple guys in here that grow hay, and it's for their cattle. But what do they do with the excess hay? I mean, we're kind of like, segregating certain things.
Unfortunately, we have a bylaw, on your question, we have a bylaw that says if there's extra,
Mr. Chairman, so
one
that's
second.
that's produced on the farm. The hay comes from the farm. We're not comparing apples to apples. It's two different things. We're taking material from outside and saying it's through the farm, and it goes back out as production. That's a total different scenario.
But that product that's coming from outside is coming in to make food for animals. I think the thing that we got to look at is that what the product coming in for is going to be used for the highest and best use. The highest and best use would be for animal feed. Composting or anaerobic digestion is kind of like the bottom end. And like when you get those surges where, you might get an excess amount of pumpkins, that's probably would get diverted either to compost or digestion. But, a lot of this stuff is, it's like baking a cake. I mean, you can't just feed an animal, all tomatoes or all watermelons, And that's a good part about what this machine does, is you can mix different materials in the feed to increase the quality of the feed. So, I mean, hopefully I didn't, confuse you any more than you are, but that's really the biggest reason why. I mean, you can get it's hard to put a number on what it is. 40 trucks, basically we're feeding most of the animals, but I don't know how you could say, if you get 10 tons of watermelons, let's say, you don't get the beneficial use out of it like you might get 10 tons of corn chips. And corn chips aren't going to break down into liquid, which you're going to lose, 80% of that product. A corn chip is going to stay, it's dry, it stays together, it's a good feed product. But we don't get enough corn chips to feed the cattle.
Right?
Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
If I may, so through the attorneys, so did we get a study from the state about what the impact that the trucks will have, the ITE? So
I don't know what that means.
So that's a study from the state that says what you're trying to do will have some impact, and what impact, if negative or otherwise, on the infrastructure of the town you're working in. Did you get an EAT study completed?
No, we don't require
Thank
one.
you.
We're off of a public street, we're allowed to use it.
What's that, I'm sorry?
We're off of a public way, we're allowed to use it like everyone else in the town.
But you're gonna use the public way to get back and forth. So it's important to the business plan to have
it's
that
a road.
material and that information for the board to have before them. You don't agree?
It's a pub- it's a-
What we
it-
said
it's
is
a
that
public way.
earlier is that it's about 1% of the, what this.
Right, but then, but you have a formula, you plug that in, you have something from the state that says, here's your report. You don't have that report.
We have the measurement of the total truck traffic and our.
But it's
truck
specifically
traffic-
EAT, it's the estimated truck engineering study they do for the state. You need to have that, and we've had the other applications.
Where does it
that's
say that we
required.
need to have that?
Well, I've seen another application of this type of,
No, you seem confident, so why don't you tell me where we need to get that from?
well, I will,
We're
I
gonna,
can
we're
get
gonna
that for
order,
you.
we're gonna move on from that for a minute, the trucks.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Dave.
When you run out of food, what do you do? Call up a feed store and have them bring a couple trucks down?
No, we've actually experienced that this time, this year, and we've either had to buy feed or we try to buy extra hay and supplement it with hay and everything till the next day, hopefully a truck comes.
But you still have to have some vehicle bring that in, correct?
Yes.
Additional hay.
Yes, sir, yes.
One more final question.
No,
So,
no, I get the floor.
excuse me, go ahead, sir.
The leftover for a digester, would you have a schedule of when that would be picked up and moved out?
Daily, that's not,
Daily.
nothing is to be kept there.
Thank you.
Once it's processed, it's going out.
Mr. Chairman, I have some.
And just, can I just talk about that for 1 second? So when we talk about truck trips, we're including that within the truck trip count. It's not just deliveries, it's if a steel tank needs to come in to take out the, material for the anaerobic digestion, that would count as a truck trip. So, we're using the number 40, but some number of that 40 will be for ancillary things, to support the operation.
Go ahead, sir.
One more question. So 40 trucks a day, and we have 7 docks at that building. Who figured out we needed 7 docks? Somebody must have had a number in mind, how many docks we need to run this business.
Well, I don't know what that has to do.
You just build them because we figured, well, 7's good enough.
We applied for a building permit that was approved, and we built the building that we applied for.
Okay, well, I'm just.
So that
trying
would
to
have been a
ask
good question at that time.
Could I just, I don't really want to keep talking over the same thing, but we need to answer those questions that you have. The docks that you approved, right? Some of those are gonna stay for empty pallets because I have neighbors that don't want the pallets outside. Some are gonna have hay, some are gonna have, it's a way for us to unload. Good question, hopefully I answered it.
I would possibly think that some of those trucks, would you need a study if part of that's agricultural anyways? Some of those trucks not even count?
Bylaw require a traffic study? I don't think it does.
I don't think
don't
it
think
does
it
either.
No.
So the,
No.
I mean, the bylaw, if anyone wants to refer to it, it's section 302.5, actually contains the special permit, conditions and findings in it. And so, we can refer to that for what the board thinks it needs to potentially make the findings that are in the bylaw, but, again, that's what I thought, if we could figure out what was the agricultural part of it, it would be helpful, but they're
That's what I
saying we
was
can't, so
thinking.
if you can't split it up that way, you can't, it's more on the applicant, I think.
Yeah, you had.
So, I mean, one of the, I was just gonna say, so, I mean,
We
just to answer.
provided you information about the truck trips. Attorney Burke has explained that last meeting and this meeting. I suppose it's in the board's discretion whether to accept that or not, but it's in line with the information we're providing. I don't think anywhere there's, some high-level, state-involved traffic study that's required for a special permit application.
So what the bylaw says, it's subparagraph E in 302.5, it's just that it's the applicant's responsibility to demonstrate that the requested use will not create unmitigated traffic congestion or safety issues and provides enhanced pedestrian mobility,
Yeah,
which may.
we're comfortable with what we've
So I'm
submitted.
just
I understand.
telling the board the standard. Answer your question.
Yeah.
That's the standard in
Thank
the
you.
bylaw.
I have a question. The extra stuff that goes to the digester, you must have to, they must weigh it, right, to give you a price of what you're gonna pay to get rid of it, right?
No.
No, so they
it's not weighed,
just charge you by the
it's,
truckload, or?
No, it's not weighed. What it is if you go in with the.
Can you go to a microphone when you,
Sorry.
just because it's on Zoom and it's on?
Yeah, sorry. It is not weighed, so what happens is if you go to the, depending on the facility, I guess you go to, the facilities that I'm aware of, if you have a 1,000-gallon tank, that's what you pay for. It's a flat fee. This is what it is. If you have a 10,000-gallon tank, it's a flat fee. I mean, I haven't been to any facilities where they weigh you in and weigh you out. I mean, could there be some? Maybe, but not that I'm aware of in our area.
But there is a charge for,
Right, there's a charge, and it depends too. It's like, remember I said about baking a cake? Well, a digester is just like a cow, a person, it's a stomach. So if you feed that stomach too much ice cream, what do you do if you ate nothing but ice cream all day? You would have a problem. Digester is the same thing. So based on what you have and what the volume is, it could change the charge, and it also could cause them to reject the material. You would have to go to another digester. So everybody wants to try to keep an idea of what's in that truck and what they're going to process. If it's a material that is more conducive to the digestion facility, they might take it for free. They might give you a little bit. They're not giving you a lot.
And just to add on that, you don't always get paid from the anaerobic digester when you bring materials in. It depends, it's like kind of the market situation. Sometimes they need what you have and they'll pay a little for it, or sometimes, it's more important for us to get rid of our excess material and then they won't pay us at all. So it's not a, black and white situation where you're bringing the stuff down there and getting paid for.
Mr. Chairman, there was someone on
Yes,
Zoom
I
that
know.
had a question.
Yeah, if
I
we
don't
can
know
get to
if he's
them
still here.
so we don't forget them.
Yeah. Dylan, are you still on? He seems to have left.
Oh.
Right.
No one said Dylan's phone.
I'm sorry?
If when you went over, there was a Dylan. I don't know if they're still there. It's a Dylan's phone.
I don't see that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the board with questions right now?
No, I'm good for now.
All right, so we will, do you guys have any questions before I open it up?
believe all of my questions were already covered.
All right, do you have anything you guys want to talk about now before we open it up to public?
I think there's a conversation to be had about the conditions I mentioned, but
Okay,
I'll leave that to
we'll
you to
after
probably
we-
do that
we
at the end.
speak to the public, yeah. All right, so I'm going to open it up for pretty much questions that they have from anything you guys seen today or forgot to ask from last meeting. You can just first come, first serve at the podium here. And just another thing, I know we're speaking of conditions and stuff, we will talk about conditions because we only get one vote at this. Even if it gets denied, we still want to have something ready, just in case it gets approved.
Hi,
ahead.
Mark Rosovsky, Chase Road. I'd like to direct a couple of questions to Attorney Riley, some statements he made. He indicated that there is not a scale on site, and the material coming into the facility is not scaled. Is that correct, sir?
What-
Yeah.
Okay. Part of the permitting process for DEP is that you have to produce annual tonnage figures that you utilize on the farm. And I'm going to produce a document that shows you May I approach?
Sure.
This is a 2024 renewal application for DEP. You look, you'll see where, that's the full file. You'll see
Okay.
where that indicates tonnage.
Oh, yeah.
See where it says tonnage, accumulated tonnage?
Yep.
You can enter that into the record, please.
Doesn't anyone want to look at this first?
Is that composting?
I don't know. We,
You wanna see what it is?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
It says SWIP, there you go, sorry.
Am I correct that the operator of this 89 Chase Road also owns a facility at 65 Chase Road, which has a truck scale?
We need just a moment if you want us to look at this. We
Yeah.
can't look at it and answer a question on something else.
I don't know what you have to. It's all volume. It's fine. It's not required.
So the kind of
this
question I
this is
was-
getting kind of sprung on us here, and this is part of the DEP process. Like, you know,
Well,
I don't
to-
know, I don't know. Right now, I don't know.
He indicated that there is no scale, that the weights, the materials aren't scaled
Can you
in.
show us?
He
We don't have
indicated, the applicant indicated that there is a tipping fee that's charged. I'm sure he just doesn't say, well, it's a big truck, I'll charge X amount, it's a small truck. He's producing tonnage figures to an authoritative board, the Department of Environmental Protection. That's a document, that's a legal document. When he applies for a renewal application, he signs that under the penalties of truthfulness and accuracy. Okay, there's a statement at the end of that, which he signs and dates. So, you know, you can't come before this board and make it up as you go along. You have to come before this board and be honest. And even if you make mistakes, even if you make errors, if you're honest about those errors, I can understand the board's compassion. But when you come up here and you have a truck scale that is 89 to 65, that close, 3 driveways away, give or take, it's a fundamental misrepresentation of what he's doing because he doesn't want the board to understand the scope and potential scale of how big this operation can become. Couple other questions. When they process this food through this new machine, okay, is the feed stable? Is the processed feed stable as far as shelf stable? What's the shelf life of it?
Gets fed immediately that day.
If you guys want to answer that, you can. If
Is it stable for 4 hours, 6
Well-
hours? Does it hold for a day?
Are you ready for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As far as what he's saying, I believe it was September 22nd, the state came in and closed my scale. That's why the cones, when you drive by, there's cones on each end, you can't go on the scale. Second of all, we do that, we can bring in product and say, we're gonna charge you so much a pallet. Sometimes there's only one pallet, two pallets, but I think they want to address some of his
The
questions.
document for the DEP has to do with the composting operation, not the recycling depack machine that we're here
It's
for.
food waste that's indicated in that. If you look at that, that's food waste that's
Not
brought in.
related to this application.
And I would beg the board that it is, because that food waste is what's going to be brought in under the recycling permit. And it's either going to be fed, processed and fed, or it's gonna go to the commercial composting, commercial or a composting operation, either DEP composting or commercial composting.
I'm sorry, but
Okay.
And if I can follow,
He's
just
talking about
one more
something else.
paragraph. Because this has the ability to get very large,
40
does he
40
have
truck
contracts with sites to dispose of the surplus that he's going to take in and make to ensure that if the commercial composting facility, because there's two permits here that are being considered, we're talking about the recycling now, but if that commercial composting outlet doesn't happen, what happens to all of the surplus product that's produced at this facility?
All right, so I will ask the question about, first, the shelf life. Like, how long would the food hang around at the most?
I want to say a day, but we usually, I mean, we want the bin for food for in the morning. But other than that, if there's any extra, I'm either giving it to my neighbors or friend farmers, if there was, but there hasn't been much. It's been a struggle.
There was no location on the property where like tons of this stuff is being stored after it's produced from the machine. You know, reality, it has
Yeah,
to sit
well,
around
it's
for a
a
little
good-
while until you can get to do what you need to do with it, but it's not like it's hanging out there for a week or months or anything like that.
Okay. I'm sorry, your second question, I had that one in my,
That was the question. I
yeah,
don't know if you wanted to
yeah.
pass it
So,
on to
so
that.
what, I believe, what happens, again, I guess it's a valid question. If the composting permit doesn't happen, what
Well,
would
that's for
happen to?
commercial composting.
Commercial
We're
compost.
allowed to do composting on our property as part of the agricultural use.
Okay.
And
You're asking for 40 trucks, right? So like, if you're gonna have extra that you're expecting to go into the composting,
Anaerobic digest.
what would happen to it if you didn't get that permit?
it goes to anaerobic digestion, and it can still be composted on the property so long as it's not a commercial operation. Which, by the way, we're not bagging up the compost and selling it and bringing stuff in for that purpose. So, discussion for another time, it's a different hearing, but we're allowed to compost on our own farm property, as long as it doesn't go anywhere else. And Mr. Mello uses the compost for his fields, and he rotates the cows, because you can't leave them in one area all year, because then it destroys the ground, and then
Yeah.
you fill it around, and that's what we use it for.
I guess a better way of asking it too, and you answered it anyways, it goes off-site to that place there. I'm not 100% familiar with that. Okay, so if you had any excess that you couldn't give away to farmers?
But we said that in the presentation. We already said that. I can repeat it.
And I asked if he had contracts with, outlets, so with anaerobic digestion companies, somebody who's doing, I know Stop and Shop is doing some anaerobic digestion, okay? They're at capacity. They're at capacity, and that's why they send it to him, because they run at max capacity, and, that's their overage they need to get rid of. So they obviously don't want to pay a tipping fee if they could get rid of it and process it themselves and turn it into energy. That would be a bad business decision by Stop and Shop. So does he have contracts to ensure that if there's an overage produced and there isn't sufficient composting ability, because this is product which is above, if this permit were to be granted, this would be above, and as the building inspector said, above, and the town attorney, above and beyond farm. the farming aspect of his operation. So what does he have for guarantees to ensure that that there's not an overage of composting, which is which is why we're here primarily?
I understand your question. First, I'll say, have you ever had a problem getting rid of any overage you had?
They're
so far?
waiting. People are begging. They're waiting.
And is there more than one outlet you can get rid of it? If
Yes.
you somehow had a lot of overage?
Yeah, there's multiple anaerobic digestion sites available to be used. It's not just one place, so.
Okay.
Okay, and I just want to, and he's going to take offense to this, as he did in the past. I just want to enter into the record the minutes of the Water and Sewer Commission, the completed minute, because there were two missing of the Water and Sewer Commission that were entered in the last meeting to this hearing.
They're different from the ones you
Because these
gave
are
us?
two different hearings. So it was entered into the composting.
But it wasn't entered in?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'd like to enter that. Also, we discussed, I don't know if I need to reiterate what was discussed then, his sometimes, I guess,
I think we.
asking for
I know what you're
permission,
saying.
doing it first, and then asking for forgiveness. I've got an article here from 6/13 of 2000 in South Coast Today, which involved a separate site that he owns, and I believe it was a 43-acre site on Rayleigh Road, and it regarded some, I guess, illicit filling of land, and the compliance factors that went up along with that.
We'll accept it into the record for.
Thank you.
Sir. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir. Whoever's next.
Good evening. Manuel Pai is Ethan Circle. I do have a write-up here that I'd like to read based on the evidence and testimony of previous meeting and what was provided. But before that, I do have a question. So early in the presentation, it was mentioned that you're going to follow FIFO, first in, first out. I'd like to have an understanding, we'd like to have an understanding how you're going to do that.
Well,
What's the plan?
when the material comes in, whatever is,
Can we just put a mic closer to him?
The Zoom people will give it a hearing.
yeah, whatever comes in is processed as animal feed. That'll go out the next feeding, whether that's in the morning or the afternoon. If it is not deemed appropriate for animal feed, it'll go into the machine, it'll go into a sealed container, and it'll leave the building.
Well, the first done, first out is something where you got your first pallet that came in and you got your last pallet that came in from your 40 trucks, right? You're telling me you're going to process no matter how much, if the truck trailers are full, you're going to be process that in one day? And if not, the next trailer next day comes in, how do you ensure that you are following FIFO? What's the plan? That's not a plan.
The plan is that, yeah, we're going to have sealed containers.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Can we have the questions go through the chair?
Sure.
We're not
Address the
going to
question
argue
to
with
me.
That's
Okay.
fine, that's fine. So we'd like a plan, because FIFO, in order to follow FIFO, you have to have a plan, right? How can you determine what was the first pallet submitted on day one to the last pallet submitted on day 5, if you don't process through everything? How can you ensure that you're following FIFO if you don't have a plan?
The plan is when things come in, they get processed.
What happens when, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know, I think it kind of speaks for itself, honestly.
No, it does not. What happens when it doesn't get processed and you have more coming in? How do you determine what was first and what was last?
You would like Mr. Frades, who's going to answer the question for you.
Yes, I think I can answer that. The way that the equipment is, and the reason why they're requesting 40 trucks, if we had 40 full trucks come in, it could be handled in that day, period. There won't be anything left over. And if there was anything left over, whatever is left over will be processed first. Because if we get 40 trucks on Monday doesn't mean we're gonna get 40 trucks on Tuesday. So if we can process 40 trucks, that would mean we would have to get 42, 43 trucks. If we're committing to taking 40 trucks, that's not gonna be an issue. But if the 40 trucks came in full and the machine could not process it, then a couple trucks would get laid over for the next day and get processed. But if we get 5 trucks the next day, we've handled the problem. We don't have an overage of material to process. So, I mean, yeah, if we were getting 40 full trucks every day, you know, we would have to come up with some sort of a plan to do that. But the machine will handle 40 full trucks a day. I don't think we'd ever get that much material. I would hope that we would, and I would hope that we'd have 2,000 cows instead of whatever is available right now. But you can't grow, 10 million barrels of cranberries on a 1 acre piece. You know, you want more cranberry bogs to grow more berries, and that's what we're doing. You know, we can't get more cows until we have the feed to support the cows. Hopefully that answered your question.
No, that did not, because hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan. You said hope a few times there.
I said I hope that we would get the material.
Okay, well, you said if you get full trucks, you might not be able to process everything.
Not what I said.
You said if you had full trucks and you couldn't possibly get to everything, you'd do it the next day. But again, and you mentioned that if that was to come up, then we'd come up with a plan. You said something to that effect. So that means really there's no plan. I've worked in companies, I've managed areas where you have to, and if you want FIFO, you have to have a plan. You have to have things written, procedures to follow to make sure that you're following FIFO. And it doesn't seem like that exists right now, so it's something that needs to be considered. At that point, I'll just read what I wrote, if that's okay. So I really wanted to make 3 points, what I'm about to read here. Credibility, public nuisance, and fairness with transparency. On credibility, Mr. Mello, the applicant, has documented operated without permits, misrepresenting agricultural use and processing packaged foods under the guise of farming. A cease and desist order confirmed unpermitted recycling and composting activities, including commercial recycling equipment and packaged food storage. During inspections, member even found glass on site, clearly not cattle feed, but evidence of commercial recycling. This direct contradicts the applicant's claim that materials are only being processed for cattle feed. Images and videos submitted also show large-scale commercial composting, not incidental farm use. Mr. Mello has repeatedly failed to provide required documentation, including as-built plans noted in Water and Sewer Commission's minutes, and has not submitted toxic, odor, visual guides, or contingency plans that are essential for operations of this type. The only reason the permit is even being brought forth to the board is because of the cease and desist order and the complaints that forced the issue. One has to ask, how long has this been going on? How long would it have continued if not brought up and not a search been done or an investigation? And what assurance do we have that he will comply in the future? Also, by claiming agriculture while conducting commercial recycling and composting, the applicant may have avoided paying the proper commercial tax rate for years. This is not just a zoning issue, it is a fairness issue for every taxpayer in this town. And let's be clear, ignorance is not bliss, it is culpability. Next topic is public nuisance. Residents have endured offensive, nausea-inducing odors that force families to close windows, cancel outdoor activities. Heavy trucks arrive and depart as late as 2 a.m., disrupting peace and safety. Seagulls, crows, and other pests are drawn to decomposing waste, damaging property, and creating health risks. Neighbors have reported headaches, nausea, and respiratory irritation with well-founded concerns about bioaerosols. Runoff threatens wetlands, and Long Pond, a public drinking water source. With property values potentially declining due to these nuisances, assessed values will inevitably be reduced, which means fewer tax dollars for the town. In other words, the operation not only harms residents, but also erodes the town's tax base. Dozens of impact statements and a petition with 36 signatures document these harms. Massachusetts nuisance law, MGLC 139, makes clear that unreasonable interference with public health, safety, or comfort constitutes a nuisance. Commercial composting is the main driver of these harms, and adding recycling waste will only worsen the problem by multiplying odors, bacteria, and traffic. And even if the applicant claims he wasn't aware of the extent of these impacts, the law is clear, the nuisance exists, and the community bears the burden. Residents have already begun discussing litigation and potential class action lawsuits as the evidence of harm dating back to 2019 is substantial. Approving this permit, despite documented harm, potentially exposes the town to legal and financial liability. Lastly, fairness and transparency. At the beginning of this hearing, conflicts of interest were acknowledged. The vice chair is the applicant's son, which is recused, and the chair has had prior business relations or business dealings and has a relationship with Mr. Mellon. This is not a knock on anyone's character, but even unintentional, these ties can create the appearance of unconscious bias and raises concern about impartiality. This is why the community asks that when the board votes, each member publicly states their reasoning on the record. Is that something that the board could agree to?
The board has to, I believe the law says we have to say why or why not.
In a hearing publicly to the community and to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
We have to give a reason for why, we have to, we have to give a reason for why not.
Okay, great.
And we do all that deliberate and everything
Right.
in public.
Thank
We
you.
don't do
wasn't.
any executive
I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure that that was an opportunity or something that you could do. Because if the vote is no, it informs the applicant and his attorneys exactly why, and it sets a precedence that unless you're in good standing, provide proper documentation and avoid harming the community, you will not be granted a permit. If the vote is yes, the community deserves a clear expectation how such a decision could be justified despite the overwhelming evidence of harm. In closing, the community concerns of credibility, public nuisance, and fairness are undeniable. For the health, safety, and confidence of this community, and to protect the Freetown, we respectfully urge the board to deny these permits. Thank you. I would like to submit a document that kind of summarizes what I've said.
Thank you. You wanted to respond to any?
Well, we dispute a lot of that, but I think it's important for everyone to know, this is a commercial recycling special permit. The lot will not be taxed as agricultural. We'll pay the normal tax rate on this lot for the commercial aspect of it. Just to clear that up.
And I could also state on there that we, as the planning board, we don't actually get involved with anything until we actually receive a special permit application. So any zoning enforcement or whatever that goes through their channels prior to us. So,
There has never been a cease and desist. I can't defend all those lies, but there was never a cease and desist. The building inspector asked me if I would hold off.
Point of information, Mr. Chairman, I'm a building commissioner, not a building inspector. I read that right, and I studied hard to get my license for that, Mr.
I didn't hear.
He wants to be called commissioner.
Commissioner.
There was a cease and desist. It said we had to stop using the building until we got an occupancy permit. That's,
He asked me verbally, and I said absolutely.
okay, anyone else want to come up? Now, again, this is for the recycling permit. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good evening. Leticia Roseman, Neck Drive. I would like to start by talking about the video. It kind of brought me back to those, the animal cruelty videos. That they're like advertising with cute puppies, cute cows, by the way. They were adorable. The problem here, I don't think it's the idea of the project. I think everybody deserves to have a business. Why not? The biggest problem is the location. It's a residential area. As much as I would love to, I wouldn't definitely use my resources to make meals for my family and also for 10 more houses. That just doesn't make sense. This brings me to the 40 trucks a day, which I agree with Mr. Pizarro. There are ×2 in and out. I don't believe that we, the residents, should be dealing with the pollution from 40 trucks, again, ×2. Pollution doesn't only come from the fumes, it comes from noise. I feel really bad for the residents that hear them all the time. I know people are defending the idea, but my question would be, would they be okay if that was them living there or their loved ones that are affected? Things were happening with no permit. What's going to happen with a permit? That would be my question. And lastly, I have made an analogy. Oftentimes I'm up at night thinking about how this is going to affect me and my family. And it made me think of Walt Disney, one of my favorite people in the world, He had a dream, a beautiful dream indeed. He has made many people happy. Tonight, I'm asking you to please do not allow one man's dream to be so many people's nightmare. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Noah Roseman, Nick Drive. I just like to start by rebutting various things that I saw in the video or the presentation there. The first thing I thought of is that while you can see a video, you can't smell it. The impact of the smell from what we saw in that video creates a smell that permeates through the neighborhoods that are around it. I'll say it again, it gets in the air when the children at school are outside for recess. Even if it's too far to smell it, it's still in the air, it's getting into their little lungs too. When we saw that video of the depacker, they mentioned revenue. They mentioned it for a reason, because revenue will come of this special permit if it's allowed, and it'll come through ways through excess. The smells are made through compost and excess is the next rebuttal that I have based on what we saw. It's enclosed at first, but then it comes out for composting. These are basic things that are just going to come of it. But you couldn't smell it because it doesn't come through the screen. When talking about money, when running a business, there's a word that we know. If you ever worked at a supermarket or a store, it's called shrink. And at my little time working at a supermarket, we learned really quick that you don't want to cause shrink. What that is when you waste. Any kind of a waste is shrink. That's the managers, that's the bosses, one of their number one rules is to reduce shrink. Having trucks come that are not full will be shrink. If the 40 trucks would to be permitted, or any truck, if that truck is not full, by the definition of shrink, that truck that isn't full is shrink. I said it at the last meeting, I'll say it again, I used the casino example. I firmly believe that going for 2 permits is nothing but betting. In this case, we'll use roulette. It's red and black, trying to get a win. You're probably going to win when you go for red and black, and the result in the end is exactly the same. You won, so why not go for 2? Why only go for 1 when you can put 2 out there when the outcome's the same? And I just want to end with this. We're all human beings, and humanity is important to us. Again, I look at my neighbors, whether you live in Chase Parker or you don't, maybe you live near us, you've smelt it, and you've had to stay indoors, or you canceled that party, or people simply don't want to go to your house because it's the stinky neighborhood. Nobody wants to come anymore. So, at some point, we were kids, and at some point, Dr. Seuss may have been a book, one of his books you saw, read. I feel like where we live, I really feel like I'm a resident of Whoville. I'm in Whoville. And we're trying to live our life. We don't want to hurt anybody. We're in Whoville. But somebody has a goal, a personal goal, that is hurting the residents of Whoville. Now, the thing that Dr. Seuss did is he forced a lesson with his pen. That lesson was not going to happen unless a man, in this case, the planning board, would be the author of the story. All of you up there who are the board, you are the author of the story about humanity for us. Dr. Seuss taught us that the person who brought the wrath upon Whoville, in the end, his heart grew very large. But that's because the author made it happen, not because it was really going to happen. It wouldn't have happened had the man not written the story. So I stand here asking you to please, as you consider the permits and the wrath it wreaks upon Whoville, to remember that you can do something for humanity and for us to simply enjoy living our lives. Thank you.
Noah. So I understand your stance on the 2 permit thing.
Yeah.
But if you had to say, is there smell coming from the food processing? Do you know? Or when it goes into the compost?
Yep. So I know that there's a terrible smell, and I trust Mark when he says, and I hope you don't mind if I mention you, Mark, that when that composting gets turned, we're all gonna know it. And I've been out there. I've been out there when, I gotta tell you, it's nauseating. It's animal death. It smells like feces, animal death, and I do worry about being outside. I really do. I don't want to be out there. I worry about past medical conditions that I've had, and the damage to my lungs that made, and if I should be near that, or my family, or my neighbors who I care about very much, and I think about their kids. As I said last time, I was raised in a neighborhood near here, Rochester, Massachusetts. I rode my bike around the block, and I went out there riding my bike without a care in the world, and I never smelt anything like that, and I just loved the smell of the pine trees. And I want their kids to enjoy the same thing that I did. It's a humanity lesson, really.
Thank you. All right.
How you doing? My name's Brian Keenan. I also live in Ethan Circle. I'm sure that some of the old timers in the room, especially those surrounding Mr. Mello, are looking at us and saying, all these young guys are coming in trying to take over our town and gentrify our town. We're absolutely not. What attracted me to Freetown was property like Mr. Mello's, was property like the balance of the farms on Chase Road, where you can take a winding road, drive down a country road, less than 2 miles from a highway, and see the wildlife, and see what New England was built on, really. My wife and I were fortunate enough to see our dream come true of having a new home built to raise our family in. We moved in when my daughter was 1 month old. For the past 11 years, we've lived in East Freetown on Ethan Circle, and it's been a joy, an overall joy. I drive home from work. I work up north of Boston every day. 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and a half sometimes, sitting on 93 and Route 24, waiting to pull onto Cody Drive and get off at Chase Road, because I feel like I'm going on vacation. And I understand this meeting is not about composting, it's about recycling. But to reflect and echo the points that have been made last meeting when I wasn't able to be here, and some earlier this evening, I get out of my vehicle at the end of a long day, want to go outside onto my patio, cook dinner outside and have dinner on my patio with my family, and I want to vomit when I get out of my vehicle. After driving 2.5 hours home, busting my ass to live in a nice town, in a nice neighborhood. Mr. Mello, I'm not going to deem you the Grinch or anything like that. I commend you for what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a buck. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't be able to do what you can do, are allowed to do by right on your property. That's what attracted me to this town, to this neighborhood, to this location, was the fact that there is active farming right down the street. I brag to people that I work with that are city dwellers. I wake up in the morning, I hear the cows mooing. I hear the roosters crowing. It's comforting. It's amazing. I'm happy to raise my kids in this town. What I'm not super proud about is that since 1993, as stated last time in this meeting, Mr. Mello has been taking advantage of the town in the tax basis, utilizing agricultural land as commercial composting. Since I've been involved in this town, I've never felt the urge to come to a meeting like this. Never thought I would, but I feel that this is the point to stand up and fight. Fight for what's right for myself and my family primarily, but also for my neighbors and for my town. I do have a couple of questions, and I'm looking to get some clarity because there hasn't seemed to be a whole lot of that throughout this proceeding. Last time on the meeting, I watched it a couple times just to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. And the applicant mentioned that there was 100 and something cattle on his ranch or on his farm, and that he feeds up to approximately 300, say. Today, that number skyrocketed to 500 and to 1,000, between 500 and 1,000. It's in the videos. We can watch them. I want to know which one it is. I understand being a good neighbor and feeding your friends. I admire that in you. It's at a cost. And if the cost is getting away with something, if the cost is doing something in the shadows, standing on agriculture when you are in manufacturing, even though you may not be getting compensated for it, it's black and white. You're bringing a product in, you're creating another product, and you're dispersing it more than your own personal use. That's pretty straightforward. When it comes to the trucking, I work in the construction business. I know a little bit about trucking. I've received a lot of deliveries in my career. I've never seen one delivery come into a loading dock without a bill of lading. Every single bill of lading I've ever seen has the gross weight of the shipping. Sometimes it includes packaging. Most of the time it includes packaging. But I think with those bill of ladings that I'm certain that your suppliers provide with their truck drivers, you can calculate some weights. Sometimes working up in the city, when we're doing an excavation project, we need to export urban fill. All those landfills are quantified and capped by quota. I may have a project where I'm sitting on 1,000 yards of dirty dirt that I can't get rid of for a month or so, or a week or so, or whatever it is, because the plant can't take it, the facility can't take it. I can't send it to Maryland's Landing that's nice and easy. I might have to ship some stuff to Vermont or ship some stuff to Ohio. That's the way that business works, and I'm sure that you're very familiar with that as well. Why can't we do something like that here? Why can't we take bill of ladings that have weights on them, get a phone call from the truck driver, hey guys, I'm coming over to Beach Bluff, I got, bill of lading says I got 1,000 pounds of material here. We know that probably 300 of it's a pallet, bringing in 700 pounds of food. And then with that, over the course of a day, or 10,000 pounds of food, whatever it might be, over the course of the day or a course of a week or the course of a month, you would very easily be able to calculate the gross tonnage coming into your facility. And I'm assuming that this fancy machine you have, much like a rock crusher or a conveyor or something else, you can put a scale on it. And it could tell you the amount of food that you're yielding from that piece of equipment. So you would be able to give the town the information that we're asking for, how much food comes in, what does that take to make a pound of animal food? I don't expect it to be 1-to-1 because of everything that you mentioned earlier, but is it 30%, is it 50%, is it 70%? We don't know because we don't have numbers. I urge this board in the town to put a weight restriction in a daily volume cap on this operation, not a number of trucks. If we end up with a number of trucks and we say, yes, we'll give you 40 trucks a day, I understand the capacity of the roads and I know the hardship. My children get on the bus at Chase Road every day, right by the train tracks. Nobody knows more than I do the potential impacts of those trucks running up and down that road. But when you get 40 trucks a day that come in fully loaded because the applicant realizes, hey, they gave me 40, now let's shop around. Now let's make a couple stops on the way in. Let's bring in a fully loaded trailer that's grossing 80,000 pounds total, that has 30, 40,000 pounds of food on it. That's the problem. That's Pandora's box that we're potentially opening. So I hope I made a little bit of sense. I don't want to take anybody else's time more than I already have. Thank you all.
Go ahead, sir.
Can I just make a quick response having to do with the bill of lading?
Yes, sir.
The kind of material we're taking in, it's expired food, it's considered scrap. It's not a saleable product. So the trucks that would be delivering the product do not provide bill of ladings. So we don't have that, or wouldn't have that.
Plus, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he said I've been cheating the town since '93 or something. How? I bought the farm in 2005, and he said he liked the mooing. I'm just curious where he's coming from, where he got the information.
So at the last meeting, I don't remember who the gentleman was or who the person was that was standing here talking about it going on since 2018. I think it was a gentleman that lived off Acosta Road. And maybe it was a different property. But you mentioned you've been doing this since '93. So you just mentioned you bought the property in 2013?
No, the farm that we're talking
It's the
about,
bond that we're talking about
2005.
in 2005. So how long have you been composting and recycling beyond your use or beyond your need on this farm?
Can we have
That's my point.
questions through you?
Yeah.
That's fine. Can I ask you to ask him?
If you want to answer,
I'd
you
also-
can. It's
Because
does not
that's the point I'm trying to
pertain
make
to
to the
the
people
permit,
here
but-
is that we're finding loopholes.
Be the best neighbor you can be.
All right, stop.
I am. I'm
I need a-
standing up for my
Okay.
friends. And also, Mr. Mello,
All right. Just, yeah, come through me, okay?
in
Both of you.
the opening remarks that you guys made at the last meeting, I believe it was the other attorney, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, sitting on the far end, mentioned that you could fit a lot of houses in that property. If this is continuing the way that it could for the community, with potentially getting commercial recycling or commercial composting, or both, I would gladly welcome 170 acres worth of housing that are gonna be good neighbors, that are gonna be like my neighbors. They're gonna look out for each other and the well-being of the families that live around them.
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to correct something I said about the bill of lading. We do get a bill of lading, but it's not detailed. It basically just says origin and destination. Other types of products that get delivered have more detail. I think he mentioned some kind of contaminated, dirt or something. We're not dealing with that, but, so we do get a bill of lading, but it still wouldn't provide the information that he was discussing. I just wanted to correct what I said before.
Thank you.
Frank Bergeron, 90 Chase Road. So a lot of people said a lot of the stuff I was going to say, but a couple things from the previous meeting that continues today. If you had a state permit but you didn't have a local permit, for the last few years, it wasn't operating legally. Is that correct? Because
No.
you need local permits to operate. Is that correct? We have a bunch of attorneys.
That would be. You don't have to answer that. but
So the
we're here
question
because
is,
we get a
uh,
permit, we can't go before
Well,
that.
that's a question, it's a
I
legal
understand.
question, I'm just asking.
I understand your question.
Because if you, I have an attorney, and if you have a state permit that doesn't give you the right to locally operate without local permits which supersede a state permit. And so for 3 years, there's been illegal operation.
He would need a permit for what he wants to do now here. That's, I mean,
Well,
if he was
it's been
doing
going
it
on for
prior,
3
then
years.
yes.
So what I'm trying to say now is if we give the special permit, the very people that are supposed to be enforcing the local permits, we've been complaining to, and nothing's happened. Because the health inspector, or whatever his title was, had conflicting reports from the health chair. But he was supposed to be representing us with our complaints. And you see how nothing happened? When we see this nice video, everybody loves that. Everybody loves cows. I grew up on a farm, a lot of people already heard that. I grew up in Wisconsin. So I was a dairy farmer most of my young life. So I'm familiar with farms. That's beautiful. That's not what we're here for. It's almost like when we come to this meeting, we're forgetting the previous 3 years that we were discussing last time. Everybody that has ruined roofs and ruined parties and ruined times on their own property values that you couldn't sell it, let's all forget that, and we're gonna go forward with this nice, pretty version. That's not, and what we're supposed to do is say, oh, we know that you're gonna you're going to take care of us. That didn't happen. That hasn't happened. That's why I'm compelling legal counsel to say, if someone does something class action, there's a lot here that was done wrong. And so even when it's suggested, like, what do seashells have to do with composting, feeding, anything? Is there an answer to that? And when it was suggested, the applicant said, absolutely not, seashells stay. And that's one of the biggest problems. But absolutely not. And then when we ask anything else, we can't give specifics. When Carl talks about the trucks, they keep saying 1%, 1%. That's 1% of all the Hyundais and Toyota. How much of commercial truck is probably a 50% increase in commercial truck traffic? All the trash trucks come through Sonnet on those historical bridges. It's a fact. And when it's like, oh, those trash trucks, they just bring leaves year-round? I mean, who's collecting leaves year-round? That's all that's said is leaves, leaves, leaves. There's something that's been more. But the point is, if that was what, that video, if that's what was going on here, you wouldn't see this outpouring. But it's the previous 3 years that it seems like this board wants us to just forget about. And maybe not personally, but I'm just saying, like, that's why people are showing up. And that's why people are saying, what are you going to do to either eliminate this or protect us? Because we haven't been protected. And I think we have real legal stance for what has been done. When you have reports, you know, again, the health I'm sorry if I say the health administrator, they had to have a whole separate complaint file for all the complaints, but that was never, no one ever said, hey, where's the permits for this place?
Let me just, so what happened prior to the board? This board deals with the special permit.
I got you, yeah.
I understand, we're listening to everybody.
Sure.
We know what you're saying. Whatever happened or did not happen prior to us, that is definitely something we can't.
But can I just say this to you? Because I've had issues, everybody knows where I live, and everybody knows my neighborhood. And I always assumed that if someone saw something wrong, they would tell the appropriate official. And I went through years of that until one of my people I know in the police, Frank, if you don't complain, nobody's going to do anything. I'm like, is that the way it works? So then I start talking. But with the health inspector getting hundreds or dozens of complaints, he never said, hey, maybe I should talk to Carl. Maybe I should talk to zoning. Where's the permits for this? What's going on? And then instead, make everybody feel stupid that their yard stinks and that we're complaining about shells. You're stupid. Those shells don't stink. Meanwhile, this poor girl goes out there, she's almost vomiting. That's a big problem because that's the town who's a civil servant trying to protect us and not doing it. As a matter of fact, antagonizing, or there's probably a better word for it. But that is why people are not just going to say, yeah, we're going to just let this go with all vagaries. We're not sure how much, how long, what goes on. The permits, we're not going to make it non-transferable. I mean, I could read the bylaws. You guys know the bylaws. But it is a noxious smell. It is a traffic issue. It is bringing down the values. It's all in the bylaw. So unless you can compel us, you're taking one person's interest over all the rest of ours. And that's a problem. That's a real class.
We have to do everything. We're
I'm just-
crossing our Ts, dotting our Is
Yes,
on this
but
board.
we spent about an hour on this video and talking about truckloads.
Yep.
Instead of, boring the hell out of all us. We're the real ones here. We're the concern.
I mean, I think we're.
This is a special permit. This is not this is a special occurrence. It's not a right. I heard that said before. It's not a right to farm community. We're not in a right to farm community.
Yes, again, I
No,
can
we're
tell you
not.
what.
No, we're not.
Tell you what,
We are not
excuse
in a
me.
right to farm community.
This board is dealing with the special permits, right? They're two separate special permits. I understand they're interchangeable in the long run. I get it.
I got one more thought. I just want to forget it, but keep going.
I don't want to forget either.
Sure.
All right? So we have to do everything that we're required to do to make a complete decision. And if it takes an hour of a video or, 11:30? About 4 hours of listening to everybody's statements, and if we're going to do another 4 hours today of listening to the neighbors,
Fair.
that's what we'll do.
Fair.
if we're gonna come back in 2 weeks and listen to you guys talk for another 4 hours, that's what we'll do. We want to make sure every detail is documented, and I have no idea. We don't speak. We speak here in front of you. I have no idea if anyone's made up their mind either way yet, and we're gonna keep it that way.
The last thought.
Keep getting enough information that we can. Go ahead.
It was said, and even the applicant agreed, he's like, I'm not asking for a commercial permit. But that's what's on the paper, and again, that's ignored today. He himself said, I don't need a commercial recycling, because commercial recycling is not just food, because we could walk away from this and all of a sudden steel and glass and wood and everything else is coming through. Because the permit is open when it just says commercial. So what, shouldn't the permit have to be rewritten?
So the way you would get a permit, that's the only, there would be conditions that would, if it were to go that way in his favor, there'd be probably pages of conditions that you couldn't do anything but the food processing. So yes, I mean, I can't tell you, again, I can't tell you what they're gonna say, but I would say
I'm a
those,
very literal
I would propose
contract
myself,
person.
as the
So-
chairman, I would propose those conditions of nothing pretty much but the food, if it were to go that way. I can assure you that at the very least right now.
All right.
Mhm.
Thank
We
you.
wouldn't have an Excel over there.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
I can assure you that right now.
because you see how that ends.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
not good.
I don't.
I do.
I'm an old guy.
I think we should take a short break. All right, we'll vote on a short recess, if anyone needs to use the bathroom, because I do.
Can't you just make it?
I can't just make the recess.
Do it.
All right, we're gonna take a approximately 10-minute recess. Oh, final. 1 second. All right, we have, meeting's back to order. I did a little bit, right? I don't want to get crazy. Smash it. How about now? No? What? All right. How's it working? There we go. I gotta be wicked close. All right, we can put these things closer. Go ahead, ma'am.
All right, Margaret French, Board of Health. I'd just like to make a response to, I think it was Mr. Bergeron that was up here. The Board of Health has received, not hundreds, we have received complaints, smells, the birds, et cetera, et cetera. We have not replied. We have gone out, we have investigated it. We have sat down with Mr. Mello and discussed things, talked about how things can be mitigated. And then this whole special permit process started. So we're kind of trying to be part of this as a response to the complaints we've received. We have not ignored anything. We have tried to work with everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, do we have anyone else from the public that wanted to come up? No? All right, did you guys have anything you wanted to add in response to public comment?
Not in response to public comment, no.
All right, how about the board? Do you have any questions or comments you want to make now?
The other day when we went out for that, when we went for that site visit, you had a Stop and Shop trailer sitting there running with the reefer unit. I mean, how often do they sit there and run? If you get product left over during the day, is that what it does? You leave it there?
If it comes late in the day and we can't unload it, it's better than fruit going bad, stinking, that we would leave it going. But a lot of this, the whole idea of moving it to the loading docks and things like that, we're moving it another quarter mile back. All the pictures of the pallets that was shown before, we're trying to do the right thing to eliminate all this, and we're being fought on it. We're trying, to answer your question, it's only if there's fruit in there that they can't unload till the next morning. But as soon as we unload it, we shut it off.
How often do you think that happens? Is it more now because you're not using the machine and you're waiting for it to be done?
Correct. Absolutely, but
That's part of why the building is there, so if we can't use the building, then we can't do that.
Okay. Again, a few people mentioned it, and I know you kind of want to keep it to trucks, but is there any way you could try to formulate how much in tons is needed for the cow, or like after the feed is, after the food is depackaged, and get the tonnage off of that?
Well, no, because the problem is, and it's a real problem, is that it depends on the type of food. If it's X amount of weight of cookies and X amount of weight of some kind of watery fruit, the output is not the same depending on what you put through the machine.
Well, and yeah.
So obviously, if it was something with more water, the tonnage coming in would be higher, but then the amount we actually get to use would be less. So it's hard to,
I understand that.
it's hard to tie us to some kind of limit when it depends on the kind of food that comes in, which, again, is not things that we can select. It just comes in as from the origin source, from whatever they have left over. We can't say, no watermelons, only bread and cookies. It doesn't work that way.
And someone did mention about, like you're saying, I understand that it's hard to do that, and I agree, but obviously you're not using the machine now, so it might be, how long did you use the machine before it was shut down?
10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I should have said that earlier.
Okay.
We don't have like 6 months of operation where we can be like, well, this is what it looked like. So we stopped right away when we were told to stop. Or,
Yeah,
never really
yeah.
It
even
never,
started.
right, it never really started.
Okay, so how long would it take, I'm just thinking out loud here, I guess, how long would it take to come up with those numbers if the machine was running?
You only can get out what you put in, and the variations within a day.
We don't have
Again,
we don't have a scale on the site. I mean,
and there isn't one at 65 Chase Road either.
like, we can count trucks, we can count pallets, but
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just trying to help quantify this somewhat. You must have some metrics that you use. Sorry. There must be some metrics that you use to be able to properly plan for feeding your cows, right?
Yes, you could do it in yards.
Okay, so how does that work? How does that work?
how many yards per cow per day?
Depends on the product.
Lincoln, help me here.
Well, we might be able to provide how many yards of feed per cow, but the input will be difficult because it depends what comes into the.
Donuts is different.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I'm just thinking about how do you write a decision, like, how
I
do you,
get it.
how do you put these, I mean, you understand what it's like, so and I understand that, you supplement with hay or what have you, but on a daily, weekly basis, you must have some metrics for having a general sense of whether or not you're gonna have sufficient product to feed the cows you have now. So how is, how many cows you have, about how much they eat a day, you have some sense of the volumes you need to take in to feed them to be prepared to have excess. Like, it just seems to me like there should be there's some metric in that that you're using to run the farm.
With what you're saying, you're right. But what creates the problem is, say a load of fruit comes in, and it's mostly watermelons or pineapples or this and that. Well, a watermelon is, let's say it's 80% water. I'm not getting enough for the cows. Where if you had a load of chips or Doritos or whatever you want to call it, that product is much, much lighter. Yet it's going to go further until you depackage it and put it in. You're not going to know. A pallet of cornmeal or a pallet of flour is going to be totally different than.
He might be, he's volunteering to help you there.
I might be able to help clarify that a little bit. The reason you ask, how do we know? We have other materials there to supplement the diet. So if we don't have enough grain, for instance, well, we have grain, we have hay, we have the food byproduct. So if we don't have enough vegetables, then we implement some more either grain or hay. So the cows always have food in front of them. But it's hard to say. I mean, if it's not, this is material that's an excess material that either Stop and Shop or whoever is throwing away. And as the gentleman said, I don't remember his name, but the guy with the pink sweater back there about shrinkage, I mean, these stores, their goal is not to ship the stuff out, their goal is to sell it. So we only get what they can't process or can't sell. And that varies from day to day, and it varies from season to season. You know, so this is a new a project. You know, as you can tell, that we have a lot of things that we don't have answers for right this second. I wish that we could give you a clearer view, but we're learning as we go. You know, farming is not the way it was 50, 60 years ago. In order to have a sustainable farm today, you have to be flexible, innovative, you have to try to reduce labor as much as possible, and you have to try to supply, you know, it's not like years ago where you had 100 farms here producing silage. Farms are you know, and somebody mentioned about houses, farms are disappearing because guys like John, me, are forced to sell our farms because I have 3 kids. My daughter is a CPA. She's, you know, retired. I'm still working. My 2 boys are engineers. Nobody wanted to be part of the farm. We ended up selling our farm. Fortunately enough, I found a person that had a ton of money. They don't care about making money at the farm, and the farm, when I sold the farm, I put it in the deed that he had to run it as a farm for a certain amount of time. And fortunately enough for the neighbors, he's continued to do that beyond the restriction. But a farm today needs to have more revenue than the product that they're making. They're never going to make it. And the issue that we have in our area is that if something happened in the trucking industry, there aren't enough farms in our area to support our community with food. Everybody in this room and in this state depends on trucks bringing food in from other areas. We don't have enough farms. I mean, I could name a ton of farms that, you know, Savelli's farm, everybody must have gone there for corn. They're not in business anymore.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
We understand, but we're just trying to get some answers for
Yeah,
for
so
us,
that's my,
okay? So
that's my answer to the question, is that we have other materials to supplement the, what we don't get in the
yeah,
food waste.
you actually gave me another question though, and you might have the answer, so don't go too far.
Yep.
When you're doing the depackaging of the foods, are you mixing, like, is it just the foods you're feeding the cows, or are you mixing in like grain and other stuff as well?
Well, it's important to have a blend of, say, flour products, vegetables, acidity feed, different things. You want to, we're trying to get a high protein feed.
So if,
So
for
the answer
instance,
to your question was yes.
Yes.
And that was another reason for getting the machine, was to have the ability to make a better quality feed.
okay.
So yes, that is what the machine can do.
For instance, I know you guys were talking about probably getting a lot of pumpkins in
Well,
and stuff like that. Would you
Yeah,
mix
that's a
something with that?
blessing. That's
Oh,
a
that's the-
natural anti-worm product, so that's a great thing. But that
you mix
window
in-
is small.
Okay.
The window of it is small.
All right. Go
Mind
ahead.
if I ask
Yeah,
one
go
question?
ahead.
'Cause again, I'm just trying to think about how this all flows. So, and I don't know if this is possible, but if the board were to write a decision, and I don't know if they're gonna vote yes or no, but so folks understand, the way this normally works is boards normally take an affirmative vote, and it either passes or fails. So we're always talking in terms of what the affirmative vote would look like, for folks that have a question about that. If they framed it in terms of a volume limitation on what was necessary to produce enough to feed, how many cows, usually 160 cows?
No, I'm around 140, but I would not want to not take care of my neighbor's cows if they were there. We've fed them for the last 5 years, or I don't know how many years.
I'm
We
just
understand that.
asking in general terms, though, like, why can't, instead of talking about truck limits, why couldn't the limits be more in terms of volumes necessary to produce, you know, an amount
'Cause
of food?
I would love, my goal, I know at my age, but my goal is to double my herd.
Even so, you could, but again, you could still, and I'm asking, like, why couldn't the decision say
Well,
the volumes are limited at a, X amount necessary per cow, and then you double your herd, it's
And
on.
who said that we'll be back here arguing over how many head I'm allowed to have, or my neighbor, or
So you're
this
concerned with
and
that's an enforcement concern?
Yes.
well, I think I would agree that that's hard to enforce, but I think, and I know you're trying to get away from the truck trips, but, you know, we're here for the commercial special permit, right? But the 40 truck trip idea is not only attached to whatever percentage is the commercial aspect. We can do the 40 for agricultural, for the farm, and whatever's, you know, considered to be left on top. I mean, so it's not like the 40 is only tied to the extra we're talking about, and then the things that are coming into the farm that's staying on the farm for the cows, like, we can just do whatever we want because it's staying on the farm. Does that make sense?
Well, so I'm
We're accepting a
trying
restriction
to-
that otherwise, you know, we
I'm-
probably, not shouldn't, but, you know, would be protected by the Dover Amendment, but,
With an eye towards reasonable enforcement.
100%,
and-
yeah.
And the future, I'm trying to figure out a way to clearly delineate what the agricultural component is, and then what this kind of, even though it's related perhaps, real commercial above is, and you're telling me you really can't separate that.
well, I don't think there's a bright line, is the
Well,
problem.
that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say, is there a way other than truck trips? Like you're saying right now, you get 10 to 15 truck trips a day, but you want to be able to go to 40. But, so right now, it sounds like you're saying we want to double our operation, because earlier you said 10 to 15, I'm sorry, you said 15 to 20 truck trips currently. You want to go to 40.
No,
No, it's not
It's, on average, it's around 15 to 20 trips.
Yes.
We just want to cap at 40 for the more busy periods, but we don't expect 40 trucks a day, that's not realistic, but we just want a higher cap just in case, you know, we need, more trucks are available. You know, maybe the 35th truck is full, but the first 10 were not. You know, that's the difficult part about, we can't predict what's coming in on each truck, so we want a little bit higher cap, but it's not realistic that all 40 trucks are gonna come every single day and be filled to the top with food materials.
No, I understand
Around
that.
the average is 15 to 20-ish a day, you know, give or take. These are, you know, generalizations.
I understand that, but what you're saying is we have an average right now, and we're asking for a cap that's double the average. And so to me, that sounds like the commercial component is the amount above your average, and now you have this machine, you're getting tipping fees to bring the food, and you have the machine, it lets you do more volume. It's a great business plan, I'm not questioning any of that, and there's lots of merit in what I've heard. I'm just trying, none of that is for me to have an opinion about. I am trying to process how the law applies to something like this in my own head, and it's difficult because you're saying you can't
But I don't,
separate it.
no, but I don't agree that the 40 number being higher than the 20 number means that extra, the next 20 is purely commercial.
Well, it's largely commercial, right? Because
No,
you're
it's
not
not,
increasing
because
the cows right now.
You
Well, we're not-
still
we're
might
not
not
doing
get the
it.
tonnage in 40 trucks.
Yeah.
You might not get the tonnage.
Yeah, you might get all 40 trucks and not have enough to feed the animals. That's our point, that it's hard to give a bright line number of exactly what's coming in.
When Carl came and he saw these pallets of Frito-Lay products or whatever, think of how many ounces is in a bag versus what you're gonna do. There's no telling.
Yeah, go ahead. So just, I guess, applying the bylaw criteria, like, what are the safeguards you are proposing the board considers to
Oh, I have
count,
Sure.
Because, again, I feel like there should be a way to quantify it, the uses.
So my
Yeah. Oh,
my
sorry, go
opinion on this is obviously, and we've had a talk about it, obviously you're allowed to do something to feed the cows, right? That you don't even need a special permit for, even if it is the operation of that machine. That's my opinion, right? What I'm concerned about, and I'm sure obviously your neighbors are concerned about, is what are we doing above and beyond, right? Now, granted, I know if you get, maybe even for farm compost, you might throw a little bit in. So we wanted to, would you have better numbers a year from now if that machine was running from a year?
Probably, but that's.
Just say, and I'm just,
I mean, that makes sense, but
again, I'm just thinking.
we're not asking for a year's leeway.
Well, me thinking right now, special permits can be granted on a temporary basis, where you could have some numbers that you can bring back to us after that.
Or a shorter term.
I would have to,
What's that?
What if there was a shorter term? If you're getting watermelons and pumpkins this week, sorry. I guess my comment was, what if there's a shorter term? I know the chairman just mentioned it here. Could it be a month? Would you get an average over 4 weeks, or 6 weeks, or 8 weeks?
I think, in all fairness, you gotta go, like I said, about 4th of July weekend, or Memorial Day weekend, or Labor Day weekend, or Christmas, or pumpkins, or all that.
That's why I kind of mentioned the
What, a
year
year,
too,
yeah.
was because you got all your seasons in,
Yeah.
and you have a whole year of
So,
thing. Not that,
I'm not-
I don't
so
think
we're not-
anyone on this board's gonna give you a blank permit to just do what you want for a
Right.
year.
We're not
It's just
we're not-
something I'm saying, would you have better numbers? Would you be able to take good numbers and better numbers if you had a temporary permit for a amount of time?
yeah, and I don't think we'd be opposed to that. I mean, I'd ask for 2 years, so 2 full rounds of seasons to, because 1 year, is still,
But again, guys, I just need order, and again, I am asking this question because we have to, we have to get conditions ready to vote on, even if it gets denied. We just have to have a plan in place for our vote. We can only take one vote to either approve, deny, or approve with conditions. That's why I'm asking these questions.
so we would accept a limited permit. We'd ask for 2 years, because then, you'd have 2 full years of operation, and I think those numbers would be better. I'm happy to talk about that more. And then I know I've mentioned it a couple times, I do have a list of, conditions that we wanted to discuss that, would further confine, the operation, rather than just truck trips and time.
All right, does anyone have any questions now for the board? The board have any questions? right now?
I'm
I think I'm gonna let him
Yeah.
go,
Yeah,
talk
I would.
about, so I think at this time, we're gonna let you,
Okay.
propose the conditions, that you would,
That's
would
fine.
like to see on it.
Just
We'll
proposing.
go from, do you wanna speak first?
Just quick.
Go ahead, sir.
So Frank Bergeron, so this is an odd request, or outside of the box.
Yeah.
But if we're trying to help so much to help this business, it seems like there's a lot of effort on how can we keep your business going, and putting restrictions. Could there be something that if you receive X amount of complaints, that, yeah, because you, I know.
Just talk to me, though. Go ahead, I'm
But
listening.
why is that unreasonable? That
I'd say it was.
if the complaints are submitted and investigated, then you violated the neighborhood in some way.
Well, it's up to the building commissioner, not the number of complaints that come.
Yeah, so honestly, I think, again, I'm speaking for myself right now because we haven't discussed anything, but we have to do everything, like, best case for you, it's best case scenario. I can pretty much guarantee he's not getting a blanket approval, but, so we either gotta have something with conditions, or we'll probably end up denying it. So we want everything written down and everything before we do a vote. You know what I mean? So this is just thinking ahead. But yes, we're gonna propose a whole bunch of conditions as well. If you wanna continue speaking with what you think,
I just,
sure.
Sitting here, I'm like, a lot of guys would be happy with, if they had a say, and if we're waking up and everything smells again, I think that would make people happy.
How that would work. Yeah, yeah.
So just to clarify, if the decision contains conditions and the conditions are violated, those are issues of zoning enforcement for the building commissioner. If the permit had, for example, an expiration date, this permit is good for a certain period of time, it needs to be reapplied for, then if there had been a number of complaints, I think that's something that the board would take into consideration if there was a reapplication. But what we can't do is just have something that, like, automatically annuls, or just legally speaking, you can't. So we're not gonna have something that says, if you violate this, like, the permit goes away, right? The conditions are to be enforced. So for example, if there was a condition on when the trucks could come and go, and that got violated, you can make a complaint to the building commissioner. The building commissioner will remind them, hey, you guys need to do this. It needs to be during the correct hours. There's enforcement mechanisms for that. But it's not gonna be, from a legal perspective, in my opinion, something where if they violate that condition, then the permit just goes away. Now, if it has an expiration date and has to be reapplied for, it expires, then that's something that can be factored in. But from a legal perspective, I think that's how the conditions and the enforcement would flow.
What if there were 10 days in a row, they came in after, at 2 AM or something?
So again, there's enforcement mechanisms, and one of those is court. And so if you, and I'm not saying you would, but if you have an applicant that's violating the conditions and they're not responding, there's an opportunity to go to court and ask a judge to give you some redress. But, that it becomes an issue of enforcement at that point.
That's been the issue all along.
Well, go
Through you, Mr. Chairman. So the board, in my experience, can also impose standards for monitoring smells off the property, noises off the property. You could also have, self-monitoring, and the reports come to us to make sure that they're following. There is, in fact, no smells or any smells above the threshold allowed coming off the properties. Then I would have something to enforce, to go out, hey, look, we got a report, here's what it's telling us, so here's something I have to enforce. That's also within the board's purview.
Okay, so, again, so if there were, just speaking about trucks, is what they said. If trucks rolled in at 2 AM and you had 10 complaints of that, what would be your course of action on
I'll
that?
tell you what's worked in the past. You put up cameras, somebody pays to have them monitored, and we can count how many trucks come in and when they come in. That's worked in Somerset, and that was the final blow that controlled how many trucks, how much material you can bring in, and how much profit you can make. Once we limit that, the problem went away, and they said, we're not gonna stay here, we can't make any money, and they left. So you could impose any kind of monitoring you might think is important, smells, noise, anything like that. Could be conditions of the special permit.
Okay.
Chairman, just quickly, sorry
ahead, sir.
to interrupt. Jim Marsh, I represent the Bergerons. I did give you a list to try to help.
Yes, we've seen that.
As part of that letter that I submitted before the last meeting. I think that gives you some sort of guidelines, some goalposts as to
Actually,
where.
very impressive.
When looking through, if you're gonna grant the permit, some conditions that can be put in place.
Well, again, we're getting conditions figured out now. That doesn't mean that I don't,
No, but I
you know what I
thought
mean?
that
I
would be
don't know
helpful
which
to
way the vote's gonna
get the ball
go, but
rolling.
yes,
Yeah.
to get the ball rolling. Because again, we have one vote.
Right.
To either pretty much deny or approve with conditions, maybe even a temporary.
Yep.
All right, we did see that. I read it, I thought it was good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so as far as,
All right, I just got one question, if it's
Go
okay.
ahead, sir. Yep.
So Brian Keenan, Ethan Circle again. So earlier in the evening, the applicant's counsel mentioned hours of operation,
Yes.
Monday through Friday, and then half-day Saturdays. What would those hours be?
Is we're trying to
so,
get
so right now, I'm kind of letting them tell me what they want the conditions to be. And we're gonna add a whole bunch more. And, we take theirs under advisement. Doesn't mean we're gonna do what they want. You know what
I
mean?
think
But
I was
yeah,
just
if you-
asking for the crowd what the
Yeah,
intent of the operation
I mean, if you
would
have
be.
that one handy now, let's go to that one.
Yeah, so,
Excuse me, I'm so sorry,
Oh,
Mr.
sure.
Chairman. Would you happen to have the conditions in writing that you could share with us? Or
I
send
just
to
have
me
them in my
later?
notes, but I can send you something tomorrow morning with,
Thank you, I appreciate
I'll copy and paste what I have here and send it to you.
I appreciate it,
Okay,
thank you.
sure. All right, hours. So for trucks, we propose 6 AM to 7 PM during the weekdays. And then on Saturday, 6 AM to 1 PM. And no trucks or DPAC operation on Sunday, so nothing happens on Sunday.
I could tell you that's what they're proposing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay.
That's like wildly absurd.
You understand you can have trucks unlimited.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
If you want to continue, we'll
Yeah,
we'll
so I'll start
entertain
back
'em.
from the top. So the first one, no slaughterhouse waste or other regulated hazardous materials. Second, no Sea Watch deliveries with the clam viscus. I think that was a problem with the composting situation over the summer, but we don't need that for feeding the animals. Still proposing 40 truck trips a day. That the special permit shall not be transferred to another property. Next, the special permit shall attach to John Mello and any party he leaves the farm to in his estate planning. If Mr. Mello sells the farm, the new party must come before the planning board to modify the special permit to have that party named as the operator. And then odors, if any, shall be confined to the agricultural building that houses the DPAC machine. And then noise caused by the DPAC machine shall be confined to the agricultural building. We will post a sign that say the trucks that are coming into the property cannot use Jake brakes. And last, we'll plant some evergreen trees to further, buffer the site, from the road. And just so it's more specific, those trees will be facing the street, so, I mean.
Chase
the-
Road.
Chase Road, the building where the machine is pretty far back there, but we'll provide an evergreen buffer, so, when you drive by, you see the trees, and you don't have to look up the hill onto the property where the building is.
Okay. Questions so far? Obviously, I know we're gonna make a bigger list, but does anyone have any questions?
Hours of operation for the DPAC,
Was,
same as the truck?
oh, yes.
No, well, no, because after the truck stop and, the food processing is done, I think we still need to be allowed at night to do maintenance, cleaning and stuff like that, so I don't wanna limit, what we can do inside that building to the same time as when the truck stopped, because there's still gonna be some work required after the last truck comes.
With the machine, you spoke about, this machine itself is the sound of a vacuum cleaner is what you guys keep saying.
Less than, but
Right.
yes.
Less than. How many people would work in that area?
2, 3, 4.
4.
2 to 4 top.
2 to 4 tops, okay. And what about the lighting? So, again, if you're asking to be there later in the night, what would the lighting be like?
Well, there's lights
Same
in-
as it is now.
Yeah, there's
So is
lights,
that-
lights inside the building, but
Inside
can't
the
see that. And
building.
then there's a couple lights on the outside just for safety purposes that, I drove by it on my way here tonight. You can, basically barely see it. You can see the lights up the hill, but, I think we need the lights on because there's a building back there, but, along with those trees that we talked about, I think that would adequately shield, the view from the front.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Might I just ask if you could create that on a plan to show where the actual trees would locate?
Yes,
It
that
doesn't
was
have
my
to be anything
We can,
fancy,
sure.
but if you could just provide where those will actually be placed?
And the height of the
And what
trees.
type of trees they would be?
Sure.
Mr. Chairman.
I just want to be,
Yeah, 1 second,
Okay.
sir.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, to the applicant, do we know at this point, are we bringing any other machinery for production onto the premises, or is this it?
Maybe a fork truck inside the building.
no more big
It's already
machinery.
there.
Yeah, no
No more
more.
manufacturing machines or anything like that?
There's no manufacturing machinery on the property at all right now.
Okay. It's not what I've seen. I did see some kind of production machinery, conveyor belts and things like that.
You have to carry the food to the.
Right,
in
there's a
the
conveyor
vehicle.
belt, there's a machinery is for production, that's a conveyor belt. It brings the
There's
food.
no more equipment.
No more equipment than what's there.
Okay, thank you.
I just forgot what I was, question. So for that plan, I just want to make sure we give you what you're looking for, so not like a stamped engineered landscaping
No.
plan, but just kind of showing
Exactly, where
on
there
the
would be
property
the
where it's going to be and
placement.
what kind of trees they are.
Maybe the size of trees.
Sure,
and
yeah, we
where
can,
it's going.
we'll do that.
And I just make one suggestion, Leland cypress don't usually get eaten by the deer. They're less desirable apparently, I don't know, but that's
The
what I've
cows
seen.
kind of keep them away.
Okay, good.
All right, as far as, the big pile of, obviously it's a concern to people, and I don't know if it's by what parcel it's on, but the big parcel of shells, is that on the composting side, or is that on?
That's in between the compost and the deep bag.
It's not on this,
It's not
Not
on
on
this.
the,
It's not on.
has nothing to
this
do with this
packaging.
application. no.
Okay. All right, should I wait, or should I? So, should I wait for the composting one to ask the question then? I mean, that pile of shells there. All right, so the pile of shells, whether it pertains to the other one or not, is that something that, it seems to be a concern to your neighbors as well? They think maybe that's where some of the smell is
When
coming
we do the
from?
composting, we'll bring in any literature or anything that goes with it.
It'll be part of the report that we
will-
submit from the
Yeah, and I'm not talking about
consultant.
the I'm talking about the shells, I believe you said it wasn't part of the.
Correct,
of
but
either of
I'd
these
like to
special
address that.
Okay, then.
Then.
We will show it.
It's
All right.
over in that area,
wait till
so
then.
we,
We'll
Okay.
show it on the plan and talk about it then. But just the quick answer, though, is, so, it seemed like the smells over the summer were coming from the Sea-Watch, material that, came in and was, sitting around. That shell pile isn't causing smells. It was the other stuff that was being brought in, which has stopped, and it doesn't smell over there anymore. But that's the short answer, but
All right,
I'll
we'll-
have
we'll
the
wait
expert
till
consultant
we'll
explain
wait
that
till
more
the,
next time.
The other.
we're bringing an
hearing.
expert in for
Yep.
that.
We got that. We got that. I know we're gonna end up making a list.
Got enough board members over there.
What's that?
Like any of the board members over there?
Yeah, that's right. Did you guys wanna start talking about, conditions you have in mind?
Well, I had just written down things like lighting and noise and plans
Yeah.
like that, dust plans, anything.
Doesn't the lighting have to face the ground, because it doesn't shine off the property?
Yeah,
One of the
yeah,
things,
that's a thing, so I can,
We could do that.
we're just doing kind of like our rough
Got it.
conditioning here, we're doing it.
We need to alter
At
the
the
fi-
meetings to be transparent here with the public.
If we need to alter the fixtures of the lights to have them face the ground, that's no problem.
And again, this is, keep in mind, we're just talking about conditions for the depackaging. I think another thing would be like, it's only, I know we say no slaughter meat or anything, but the recycling, the recycling, permit would be for, what the, for the
Food-
food only.
food waste
Food-
only.
Food waste only for the. You sure can, ma'am.
Margaret French again. Talking about this machine, it's separating out the packaging from the food, and we keep talking about recycling the food, but what's happening with that packaging?
Recycle.
It gets bundled up and taken off the property.
Is it being separated? Is it being, so all these pieces are being separated inside the building?
Yes.
In directly, I'm sorry, through the chair. Is all of this being separated inside the building? Is it being put directly into a sealed container and then taken out?
Yeah, yeah, I know these other guys actually run the machine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you have an answer for that, yes, please.
Yes. So what gets separated in recycling, everything gets done in the building. The cardboard gets baled. We don't really, the plastic or the discard from the packaging, which might be shrink wrap or, chip bags, or that is gone through the machine, goes up a conveyor and directly into a sealed compactor. It doesn't come outside the building, it's not on the ground. It's a self-contained compactor is what it is. And that's why you have two conveyors coming out of the building. One is for food, and one is for packaging waste that we can't recycle. Anything that we can recycle is handled in the building, packaged in the building, and shipped out of the building. And that's some of the dock space that we need for pallets, cardboard bales, paper, that kind of stuff.
My concern was
go ahead.
microplastics and things like that, but if it is contained within the building, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
You talking about like getting in the air?
In the air, in the groundwater,
Nothing's going on the ground.
that's what my question was.
So that system that discards that plastic into the self-contained unit is not a air-operated, it's a manual conveyor. So it's not dispersed in the air. It comes off the end of a conveyor and drops directly into the container. The height of it is not that high, so you're not having stuff fly out. It's very low. And you don't have any air systems pushing stuff around which would cause, you to have a filter system or something, but there is no air systems on that machine.
Okay, thank you.
Right, good, thank you. Does anyone else have any conditions they want to talk about? Something we want to come back next
What-
meeting and talk about? Oh, go ahead.
What about a locked gate at the entrance? I don't know if that would help with the truck traffic.
There is.
All right. Well, this is the stuff we're discussing, if we think it needs to be better.
I mean, there is, but if you want to
Better
put-
than what he
if-
has, then we can make that a condition as well.
Yeah, if we would agree to that as a condition.
Go ahead, sir.
So, Mark Rosowski.
Can you, I don't think anyone's gonna hear you on Zoom.
Mark Rosowski.
Oh,
Over there.
on Zoom.
Over there, like, go over there.
It's because of Zoom.
Mark Rosowski, Chase Road.
That's sir.
Because we live in very close proximity to one of the largest fishing ports on the East Coast, I would want the board to take serious consideration limiting the amount of putresciables that could potentially come in there, because that's a very, very likely source of odor. Even if you compost it and handle it to the best-known practices, you have odor releases. It's it's extremely difficult to manage. Rhode Island, which is not Massachusetts, I understand, has very stringent regulations. It's a whole separate permit to handle putresciables. That the board would seriously consider exempting anything that came out of a fishing port from going to this site, because that's, the potential for huge complaints coming in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wrote it down anyways. Yeah, fish. Thank you.
I think we said it differently, but we agree. We agree.
Yes. All right, board. All right, I think maybe we'll,
Mr. Chairman, I have other conditions to be considered, but I'd like to wait until the next meeting
yeah,
because
that's
I
what I
haven't
was
fully
thinking,
developed
so we
them.
can come up with our own list of conditions. The zoning enforcement. And again, I want everyone to know, this is just, we have to do this before we can take a vote to go either way. Did you have anything you would want us to add as conditions?
Just as I had mentioned before, so we're looking at a time in place right now, but try to project yourselves 5 years from now, where we are and what that's gonna look like. On the other issue of enforcement, so I can only enforce what the board conditions are and give me something to enforce. So that's very important, what condition, if any conditions, or if we even accept the permit or not. So this is the time to get it right, it really is. I hope we all, and keep that in mind as we go forward with whatever decision you make. Let's think of what the ramifications are of that decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I don't know if, we officially asked for it, but we talked about it. If you're going to consider issuing a temporary permit, we'd ask for 2 years, and then we can come back before the board.
Thank you. Is maybe a legal question right now. How about inspections? Like, can we make a condition that we can, like, do, how would we do inspect, like, how about, like, I know the zoning board, the health department could probably go there at any time.
Yeah, I mean, we always recommend that you get the property owner's permission to come on the
Yeah.
property. So, I mean, even if the decision says you have a right to do inspections, if you called me, I'd probably say, see if I'll let you on.
Yeah, like, obviously you wanna.
So, I mean, I'm sure we could talk about,
Yes.
some reasonable notice,
Yes.
access will be, not unreasonably
Yeah.
withheld after notice or
Yeah.
something, conditions. You know, I mean, ultimately, if there's an issue with zoning enforcement and the building commissioner can't get access to investigate it, he's just gonna presume there's a problem, right? So I guess it's in their interest to cooperate in letting them on, but
And could we add,
probably craft some language about.
just craft some language for that? And what about, planning board? Could the planning board, if it would, just say it was a temporary permit, could the planning board have access?
So, I mean, normally,
Or maybe the town planner?
well, I mean, normally, once you issue the decision, enforcement
them.
is conducted, oh, sorry, sorry. So ordinarily, once a board issues a decision, zoning enforcement's by the building commissioner, so the planning board wouldn't get involved, except that if it is a permit that expires and needs to be renewed, it's gonna come back to you for a new application, and at that time, there'd be opportunity perhaps for a new site visit or something like that, but enforcement wouldn't be through the board.
Okay.
Excuse me.
If it
Mr.
helps, I mean, and we can talk, you know, we can talk about it, but if the planner wants to come, then.
That's what I was
you
just
know,
gonna
yeah,
add. So
that-
if
I
you
mean,
let
I
me-
just, there's no, like, enforcement there, but if you want to come, we can figure out a way where that, you know, some reasonable arrangement where that's fine.
And Mr. Chairman, no disrespect to the legal counsel, but I do inspections regularly on all sites. If it's a site plan review, I go out and take a look at it. I'm quite versed in that area as well, so I have no problem going out on site.
That's fine. That's okay with us.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Emmanuel Pies, Ethan Circle. Although we strongly feel this permit should not be approved, if there was some conditions that had to be set forth on a temporary basis, then we need to strongly consider surveillance for the trucks, as mentioned earlier. Air quality monitoring, I know we say that there's not going to be VOCs, but when you're dealing with glass and plastic, there's silica, there's VOCs, that's definitely still a potential. And if you're not monitoring, how do you know what's happening out there and putting us at risk? So that's surveillance, air, and there's also odor detection systems out there. Okay, so instead of somebody going there and waiting for numerous complaints and going there at the right time to try to smell this, there is active odor systems that we would strongly recommend, even on a temporary basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Health, do you have anything you want to add? Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Gary.
It would have to be restricted to the operation of the depacking facility.
Yes. Yeah.
Can't leave it wide open.
Oh, yeah.
Order control.
No, I'm talking
About
about,
the
the
recycling.
restriction has to be the depacking facility
Yes.
only.
Only. Yeah,
Right.
I think I wrote that down. Maybe I didn't say it out loud, but yeah. No,
No other
no, I know what
recycling.
you're saying. No other recyclables.
Right.
Yes. Yes, sir. All right, I think we'll, if anyone want to discuss further, or you want to continue this discussion till next meeting?
Yes.
All right. So, I think we leave the hearing open.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, in order even to be able to discuss
Yeah,
conditions of the
discuss it, yeah.
applicant, you would want to
Yeah.
leave the hearing open.
Yeah, and normally, just, most boards don't even discuss conditions in the public. They do in the public, but not with public meetings still open. So trying to be as transparent as possible, get a good list, so we can make a decision, you know, when we close the hearing. But I think we're going to, well, I'm gonna make a motion to continue the public hearing until our next meeting, which will be November 18th here.
No, at 18th, it will be at the elementary school.
Yes.
On Memorial Drive.
Okay, so November 18th at the Freetown Elementary School, Memorial Drive, 6 PM. And I'm assuming that's right in that, is it right in the gym there, right in?
The auditorium.
All right, so it's up the stair, yeah. Yep, right there in the,
We'll put signage.
Okay.
So that it will direct people to the location inside the building.
yes.
So is it through the front door?
It would be through the side door, like across from the baseball fields, off the Memorial Drive side.
Like when you go into vote.
Yeah, like, yeah, if you're from town, you go in and vote there, but it's up the stairs. We've had town meetings in there before, I don't know the last time we did, but All right, so I will entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion.
All right, so we'll do a roll call vote on that. Dave?
Aye.
Steve? Gary?
Aye.
James? Aye. All right, so again, commercial recycling, special permit continued until November 18th, 6 PM at the Freetown Elementary School.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Do you need that? I had it ready.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
have one.
yes, because that was awesome.
You might want that.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you have, but you don't need me.
We don't need you, no.
Selectmen on the invitation.
I'm always happy to
Thank you.
document.
Thank you for your help.
Anytime, let me know.
We will, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I might send a few more.
Yeah, go ahead. So here-
Whenever I think of it, yeah.
Yeah, no, I try to get them right back to you.
Yeah, no,
'cause,
it's good, I appreciate it.
I don't.
Yeah. Thank
If
you,
I don't
Ms.
respond
Fred.
right
Thank
away,
you.
I'll buy you that.
Commercial.
We're gonna,
Yeah.
we will be taking a 5-minute recess before we continue the agenda. Thank you. All right, we are going to call the meeting back to order. Where are we at here? Public meeting continued from 10/7/25, a request for an extension on site plan review filed by High Street Farris Solar LLC, Wills Way. Applicant High Street Farris Solar LLC, Representative Pam Burr, Sun Connect Corporation. Scope of work, the applicant is requesting an extension for large-scale solar project that was presented by High Street Farris Solar for land located off Wills Way, assessed as map 232, lot 11.04. All right, so we're looking for an extension on that?
We are going to extend it to November 18th. They have just received Apex's completed review of the decommissioning bonds.
Okay.
And so in order for them to accept that, they're going to take a review themselves. And then at November 18th, we should probably have a final.
Okay. So I will make, I will entertain that motion.
Sure, I'll make it.
I'll second it.
We can just do all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, minutes. I gotta be honest, I have not read them because I got them today. I would probably entertain a motion to continue accepting the minutes until
Yeah,
next meeting.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. This is an announcement, right? I think everyone left, but this is an announcement. I should have done this beginning. New business notice, Four Corners intersection improvement public meeting will take place November 12th, 2025, 6 PM to be held at the Council on Aging. You have anything to add to that?
No, we just hope folks come out to hear about what the problems are with the intersection and some of the solutions and kind of come up with something that everyone can agree on.
Is this some of the stuff that's already been presented to us, like a year and a half ago, or?
It could have been, it's the stop signs, modified stop signs, stop light, and mini roundabout.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, those three things have been being discussed. There was a meeting with the abutters, the direct abutters of the Four Corners.
Okay.
And so now we want to take it to the next level and bring it to the public as well and get more input. There is another grant open opportunity which we could apply for to help pay for it. So this is a good time to be doing that.
Better put that grant in pretty quick.
Yeah. No one liked my speed hum? So That's another thing.
Oh,
I
you
know.
said a speed hump.
I told them they should put a
Oh, like one of the
speed
raised
hump.
ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good, you
To
know
be,
what?
to be honest,
Yeah, you coming?
I'm probably gonna come and mention that because when I was in,
I like that.
when I was just in Belize, they have them all over the place.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And believe me, they work.
And they work, yeah, because you, you're gonna bottom.
Oh, I hit one by mistake at night. The
Won't- you'll
good
only
thing
do
it was
it
a rental
once.
car.
But they say you wouldn't want to put a stop sign.
But I think most of the problem with that is people coming down, people coming north on South Main,
Right. Oh, yes.
even though they have the right of way, they're all doing 40 when it's a 20.
Right, yeah.
So if you're yielding or stopping, you gotta roll the dice.
Yeah, but you see so many people, that they don't even slow down for that yield sign, they just
Oh,
blow
that
right
too.
through it. And I mean, usually when you're coming out of 79, you can look behind.
You can
the
look behind
Bernard
them,
store
yeah,
and
yeah.
see if there's a car coming.
You can.
And they see it coming, but they just don't think it's gonna go straight, because everybody normally takes 79. So they just pull right out.
Yeah.
I mean, I go through it every morning and come back through it every afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't really see that many accidents there.
No, I don't see any accidents. Yeah, I don't know how, but I don't see many accidents there either. Because, man, I drive all over the place, and that's one of my worst intersections. I hate driving down there.
One more stop sign would help.
Yeah, on the 79
Yeah.
side.
Nobody knows what
All
to do.
right.
People.
Well, hey,
Is there any tie-in to the bridge replacement? Or would there be? Could that impact it?
So if we got the grant around the same time, we would be doing the project at the same time, because you're gonna have no access over that bridge probably for a couple of months during the summer. So that we're trying to avoid the school, but that's on the tip, is going forward. We've contracted with an engineer, so that's a very realistic thing to do. If we don't do the bridge, then there is potential that it could be shut down, similar to what, obviously not to the scale that Providence saw, but if it cracks more, then they would have to close the bridge because it's not safe travel.
You realize that the other bridge right around the corner from that was 10
It's
years
just
ago,
redone.
15.
Yep, yep.
Same reason, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
So
down
if-
for a while.
If they close that bridge, this other one down, Bob Jost is not gonna be a happy camper, is he?
Well, they'll probably make them use 24 at that
Yeah,
point.
24 would be the exit point for both.
Because you can get off on
diverted.
North and South Main.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a good time.
From when we were redoing the other bridge, that's what they said. They never figured this bridge would break. That's why they put the North Main Street exit in, just in case that bridge ever went out. That was the tail then.
Yeah, so please come. If you all think you're coming,
It's on
which
Zoom.
I will, it is on Zoom. I can post
Perfect.
it that you're going to be there, so please come. Yeah.
And I see the Attorney
Just-
General's
was I
after.
supposed to put
I
something
know you're
else
coming.
tonight?
Yeah. No, yes,
Come
you
out, Dan,
did.
and-
Does?
Yes.
It's January
It's all
1st.
good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you all about it.
That's right.
Coming hard,
Yep.
hard and fierce.
And then we have VHB on as well, Mr. Chairman,
Take your medicine, man.
for the
No,
next
take your
one under
medicine.
old business.
Order.
Thank you.
Well, you got to use that. You like that?
Yes,
Go ahead, ma'am.
So, under old business. So we have Sarah from VHB. Sarah, I don't know if you want to, I don't think I need
We
this.
made her wait that whole time?
Yes, we did.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Hey
You made her
everyone, how are
wait
you
that whole
doing?
time.
Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Fabulous. Sarah Eva from VHB. Again, the last time I was in front of you guys, I think virtually still, but you guys were just signing the Mylars for the subdivision plan. So ahead of you tonight is just the covenant that goes along with those subdivision plans to be able to be recorded in the Registry of Deeds. So you have the original Mylars back in front of you as well, along with the covenant that's been signed and notarized by the owner and the applicant. And again, I really appreciate your patience as we go through all this. There had been some management changes on the applicant side, so it just took a little bit longer than anticipated to get those original signatures. But again, happy to answer any questions for this site. It's the solar site located at 0 Locust Street.
Thank you, Sarah. Based on legal counsel's advice, they suggested that we create a new covenant and release the old covenant. So that's what's happened. We created a new covenant. It's already been signed by the owners and applicant of this project. The board needs to decide to vote on that. And then there's a release of the old covenant that needs to be voted and signed to wrap this all up. I'm sorry, do they also need to re-sign the Mylar somewhere? Because I see the signatures are on here.
No, so the Mylars are all set. Once
Okay.
the covenant is released and signed by the planning board, the Mylars just need to be signed by the town clerk.
Okay. That, we did find that that's not necessary. That was challenged on another project, but I'm sure she will appreciate you giving her the opportunity to sign.
Okay.
So here is all the paperwork. The original is on top, and then there's 2 copies, and these are all one, because
This
there's
is
no
the new one?
signatures on that. This is the release.
Yep.
And this is the new one.
Okay.
Do you have to do it in a certain order?
I would do the new one first before I released it, but it's all gonna happen in the same night, but I wouldn't have let it carry over
Yep.
to another meeting, but you'll have it all completed tonight.
So, I will.
Do
well,
we have to sign or just chair?
It's the whole board.
Okay.
And we also have, Brenda here will be able to stamp it as witness.
Okay.
Because she isn't now a notary.
Notary, oh,
She
cool.
is a notary.
Great.
yeah.
Oh, good to know.
She would like to see all your IDs, please?
Yes.
No,
Well-
seriously. Seriously. No, seriously, she's not kidding. That's what she told me. She needs to
Yeah,
see all your
that's
IDs, yeah.
It's a real ID too, so I'm all set.
So,
I did say you could come in with your ID to sign.
well, mine's in New Bedford right now.
It's all good.
All right, no, so we'll take I left it at work. The whole wall.
So you walked here?
No, I got my keys.
Hey, I don't have mine either.
Wow.
Mine's in my truck though, with my wallet.
It's a good thing this meeting isn't being recorded.
Yeah, good thing, right? Oh. All right, so I'll entertain a motion we can do this all in one. To issue the new covenant and release the old covenant.
Sure, oh yeah, I'll make that motion, that's fine.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's get that done.
Sign the new one and then a motion to do the release.
It's all one.
It's all
yeah,
one,
all
okay.
one.
Just, there we go.
You need to see the
The ID.
ID.
She brought her equipment. You're not the first, but you're the second.
I really don't have mine, so do you want me to come
You'll
and,
have to come
to
by
the
and
office?
see Brenda.
But that means you probably can't sign it.
so I can't
That's
sign it right
until-
now?
until-
Okay,
right,
that's fine.
Until you show the ID.
Yeah, I think I really need.
There you go, you pen?
Okay.
There's 2 of them, 3 of them, actually.
3.
All right, I'll come by in the morning.
I'm not making it up.
No, I
I'm not-
get
I'm
it.
not making it up.
I get it, I
She
know.
told me.
What do we do?
No,
I
it
was
makes sense.
surprised. I said, yeah, you go.
Am I signing that as well?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes?
Yes, he's
I'm
here.
gonna go
Yep.
get my wallet out of my truck.
Yeah, he's here tonight. You voted on it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But I
You
thought
sign it.
the special permit, he's
Show your driver's
an associate member, he can only vote on
Show
a
you're a
special
citizen.
permit.
I'm sorry. Nope, you don't have to. So you don't have to show your ID. Okay, yes, here, see? You're getting all, so did you maybe forget it? And
Well, I know,
maybe-
sometimes I
maybe-
take it out of my wallet, and it
Uh-huh.
just sits in my truck, so I'm gonna go look.
I got 3 places there. Do we have to sign the
All
old?
of them, yes, the old one too, in 3 places. There's 3 different documents. It's really efficient. So cute.
I think Nicole was a notary public.
Yeah, she was, yeah. I think that's a good thing to become.
Yeah. So if I needed something notarized, I can just show up at the town hall? Can you do it on business time? No issues?
Yeah, because I don't charge for it, so.
Yeah. If you think of any other conditions as well, please just forward them along. Here you go. Here's yours.
For the,
Yeah,
Today is the.
yeah, some of those questions were answered. I had written down stuff and.
yeah.
I wrote down some, do you just want my notes to kind of look at, or do you want them, as far as conditions, it's just?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something we can talk about now.
You can't,
You can't talk about it now because we closed it, but if you think of it and you want to zip them along, text them, I can collect them and put them together for the next meeting.
when I asked,
Only one on this one?
I asked Rob an email,
There's three of
well,
them.
I think I
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
to copy you
Yeah,
on
yeah,
questions.
no, yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
No, all
there's
good
three on
questions.
one.
Yeah, she's very,
And then there's three here.
Yep. Yep.
You see when Excel put up trees? When the DEP had Excel put up trees?
Yeah, what kind did they put up?
Aphrobites.
Are they all eaten
They
at
were
the
this
bottom?
tall.
Oh.
well, they grow fast.
You- When you got a
Not that
35-foot wall,
Lot of luck.
and to top it off, you put them on someone else's property, it wasn't even yours.
They can pull
You
one
get away
up.
with that.
You're good. Can you sign that?
Excel's beyond,
You can sign it and then.
Excel's behind the Sandman, right?
Sign it
Yeah.
and show.
But
it.
where is-
So she can put
Okay.
the
Where the
document.
guy Joe across the
Next
street from
time.
you.
It's
right?
on camera, so
There's a berm
I,
with
they
the
know
berm,
it's
yeah.
me.
Excel kind of dug holes in that berm and put
Being
trees
recorded.
on that berm.
Put two more on.
But
Well, I
the-
mean,
That
The only thing
berm,
left was
that
the
berm belonged to
ADU.
Joe.
Thank you, Sarah. I don't
I
know
don't-
if you've already left.
I don't know what
That
happened
was
to them.
put in by the subdivision?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You might have.
so
I did.
you
She did.
get permission from the DEP to come put trees, and you're putting them on someone else's property.
Yeah,
No, all
interesting.
right.
Or did you keep
Still
them?
And
housing
then you
down
only
there.
put trees that big.
Yeah.
And then Joe goes out,
Yeah, they.
he comes home and sees people on his job.
This is the top
Putting
part.
trees in.
Okay.
The first
Goes out
one.
with it.
Perfect.
And they're like, oh, we told to put trees here.
Annie,
Thank you, sir.
on camera
Well,
right now.
I think that's from this one, yeah. See that?
Take, can you just say put your phone number?
That's right.
Oh,
Chip.
yeah, 'cause they want my
Oh,
name.
yeah, right.
They want my name to be first, so
If anything
they'll go
happens.
back on me, you know? You just, well, here's one.
I don't know if I wrote your license number down, did I? Nope.
Oh, la, la, la. Oh, I was supposed to sign it in that way you were telling me? I was in the wrong spot?
No, you're in the right spot. Right at the top.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Relatively
My
new.
friend, you're right at the top.
31?
27.
It expires in 27?
Mhm.
Does it really?
Yep.
I thought I just got this. Oh, it's only for 5 years, right?
Yeah, 22.
The passport's, it's 10 years.
You need it back.
Oh, you didn't sign that? Okay.
Thank you.
It's kind of sick. I don't know if
It's
she has
all
to
good.
do the
She
thing for
does.
each.
She may be able to do them back at the top. I don't know if she wants to do it right now. Do you want to continue with the ADU and then while
Yeah,
she's
what-
stamping
what-
up?
yes.
You have one more thing left? Or two?
So, all right, so old business B, accessory dwelling units and dimensional setbacks bylaw modification.
Yes, you received in your packet the revised accessory dwelling unit as it will exist in the warrant. I set it up so that every piece is done. It's the ADU, it's dimensional setbacks, and it's removal of anything related to the accessory apartment that was kind of being the replacement of now what would be called the ADU. We took some of the advice of legal counsel, but we also wanted to keep it readable and understandable for anyone outside. So if you're looking at a bylaw and it always refers you to another law, people are not going to necessarily want to read that and understand it, or will have difficulty. So we want to make sure that it is understandable for any person to be able to read. So it looks like it's ready to go. So all of the committee members have reviewed it. And if you're in favor of the language, you could vote to approve it as written and forward it to the Board of Selectmen to be considered on the special town meeting warrant for January 26, 2026. It's already coming. Yeah. So that's where we're at. Once it goes to the select board will actually send it back to the planning board for the public hearing. So, but once, I have to send it to them first and then have it sent back. So I'm just getting your vote to send that to them so that they can send it back to you for a public hearing. That makes sense. I'm just repeating myself at this hour.
I mean, I read it, that's fine, you know, after go back and forth, so.
Anyone want to make that motion that we send it to the Board of Selectmen?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
All right, have a second. All in favor?
Aye. Because you have a ticking time.
Yep.
before you
Yes.
Do the,
All right, we got that one.
So we did have, we had talked a couple of meetings ago, and this is under other, and it wasn't on the agenda, is that to sign off on things like the payroll, Deb would sign mine, I've asked, and she agreed, and I can sign off on Brenda's. But there's a document that you need to sign in order for the accounting to allow that to happen, so that you no longer have to get a PDF to sign. It can be done in-house. You're certainly more than welcome to like, if you want to see them, I can still send them, kind of thing.
Yeah, so I remember talking about this, and I talked to you again in your office not too long ago about it.
And here it is.
If you talked to her, now you got it back.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. It's pretty much, it's for payroll, and is it for like the small expenses too?
Do you want it for the small expenses too?
Well, we only filled out the payroll one.
We only filled out the payroll one this time.
All right, so for payroll right now,
Okay.
I mean,
If you want
we
the
vote on
smaller,
that?
yeah, yes, you
So
have to
it's a-
vote on it,
it's
and
a-
then they have to, you all have to sign it.
Okay, so what it
We have
is,
to notarize it.
it's allowing Nancy to sign off for Brenda's payroll, and our town administrator, Deborah Petty, to sign off for Nancy's payroll.
does it also include if you had a temp come in to do work in the department, would that?
I'd have to file another piece of paperwork, yeah. I'd
So
come
this
back
is-
to you and
So
ask
this is just specifically for
us.
you two, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just for payroll, not nothing
just for
else.
payroll, yeah.
Yeah.
I will entertain that motion to allow Nancy to sign off for Brenda and our town administrator to sign off for Nancy.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have just one other announcement on the MBTA districts. We're going to have a public meeting on November 25th. That will be held at the police station here. And we'll discuss the various districts that have been brought up and reviewed, and to let people know where the town is looking at, as well as I hope to have the language too next week to send that around so folks can take a look at that and see what the language might look and feel like. This is all being done through a technical assistance provided by the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. And Bowler is our consultant that was hired to help us with this. They ran the JS modeling, and they looked at different districts. They looked at Quick Pick. They looked at Lamb's Village. They looked at the Excel marijuana area, the industrial park off of Ridge Hill, and they also looked at the area in and around the train station to try to just narrow it down to a couple of parcels instead of the whole PMUD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What date is that again?
That is November 25th, and that's going to be held right here.
It's Tuesday, right? Is that a Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday, so yeah.
When do you have to have the public meeting from us?
Um,
To get it onto the warrant?
I don't have the dates with me, but I have it, and I can send them to you all. We got to get them in before the end of December, well before the end of December. So like
Well, 30 days, I
mid-December.
thought you needed longer than that, yeah.
Well, much will depend on whether or not they allow me to go past the warrant. So I have to make it before the warrant goes to print, obviously. So that's really more my time frame right now, is to try to make it before they close the warrant on me. And I'm going to be pushing that envelope as probably hard as I can, because it just took them so long to do the necessary work so that we can take a look at where is the best location. I'm glad that you're getting the second look at it, because if you had done the whole PMUD, then you would have been zoning more than you possibly might have needed. And that's a shame.
And just, the holdup right now is the state, the firm that the state hired.
Correct.
To help us with this.
Correct. Yeah, this is
Okay.
not something we
This
could
is
do
not
in-house.
Okay,
No, we couldn't do this in-house, and, yeah.
yeah, just wanted that in the thing.
No, we had
because of this.
Serpent do it the last time.
Yeah, I know. And then they didn't help us this time.
Right. No.
And then, after the last time it failed, we said, well, listen, you guys gotta help us then, and they, sent this company.
Yeah, the time frame came around, so I applied right away for the technical assistance. We received it in relatively short order, but then the state and the company had to negotiate their contract. That took a while, and then I think we just got lost from, I just think.
From them.
From them,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then I, had to do a little bit of a push.
Are they looking for feedback for changes, or are they pretty much done?
No, I mean, certainly the first meeting, we're looking for people's thoughts, certainly,
But there's no, you can't make wholesale changes on November 25th.
probably not a
We'd
lot.
never make the
But-
warrant
You
if
won't
we
make the
did.
warrant.
I can send out and put it up on the website in advance and ask for input as soon and often. I'm just waiting to put the flyer together and have a final district, which is still being considered. There is, the way that they set up the GIS, they put in like triggers. So if it's got constraints like wetlands, or it's also got FEMA floodplain, or those types of things, which I was aware of. But, and I'm probably going to mess this up, but the more area you have that is not available for units is excluded, and you almost have to go with more density to, and I'm not saying it right, to get the actual approval. Does that make sense? It makes no sense. I know. So if we did the MBTA station, Eversource, and the property off of Copicut, I think it's Copicut and South Main. Copicut and South Main would have to absorb most of the density, because even though you have more area, it actually works against you in that case, because then you have to apply all the density that would have been spread across 3 parcels onto 1, because they won't let you use the MBTA parcel as part of the calculations, because it's called public lands. Now they're telling me that Chapter 61 land is also not available. It's undevelopable, they tell me. And I'm like, that is not true. Like, that is not the case. Chapter 61 is a voluntary program for agricultural purposes, for forestry, and for recreation. They can go out anytime and pay back and do the penalty of the 5-year payment. So that's,
We just had somebody do that.
it's not undevelopable land. Yes, they could do that if they wished. It's not opposed. And so we had picked a parcel that had Chapter 61, and they're saying, oh, you can't use that. I'm like, I challenge that. I challenge that thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually Brightman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have, it's tough over there because you got the old Warehouser, which is owned by the MBTA, which
Yeah.
is not state, as far as I'm concerned. MBTA is a different entity than the state.
Right.
So I don't know why that's not allowable.
Yeah.
You have the Freetown Forest on the other side of the road, so we're really, and you have to do it within, you have to do a certain portion of it right there.
Right. So very constrained. And Eversource is there too, right? But that doesn't matter. So MBTA, Eversource, and even if we included them, we're kind of excluded because it's a public utility. I don't know. It's just like, I can't even. So we are narrowing it down. We should have that done. As soon as I have it, I'll send it around so everybody can see what's going on. I know you've just been overwhelmed with all kinds of materials, and I really apologize. And I'll stop talking now. And if there's a better way for me to give you the materials, I'm happy to do whatever way you wish. I just wanted to make sure you got it all. And in a time that you can actually absorb it,
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than getting it, getting everything on a Friday or a Monday, and then the meeting's Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then you have no time to read it or look at it. So try to be thoughtful in that area. I know I couldn't do it if it was me, so I was assuming that everyone has that same problem. But I'm done.
Did we vote on the PDU?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Did we?
Did you?
Yeah, we're sending that to the
Yes,
select
you
board.
did. Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Something else we have to vote on.
Yes, yes.
I'll
I'll
make-
entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion right now.
To adjourn. All in favor?